Okay, guys, so we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly... What am I going to be? I'm going to be your friendly mother today, because today we are going to be playing a very special one-shot of Free League Games, or Free League's outstanding Alien the Roleplaying Game, but we're going to be playing something set in a very, very different era, in a very different universe, and this will be set in the Old West in Northern California. This adventure we're calling Alien Terminal. And with me tonight are the stars of the Alien Terminal adventure. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing tonight? First up, we've got John.
Hey everyone, I am John, and I am playing Dr. Ira Gibbs. A little bit of biology, chemistry, anatomy, snake oil salesman. Who knows where the road will take me.
Nice. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Blackjack Harris. He is a marshal, and he trusts in his six shooters.
Very nice. And last, but certainly not least, coming to us from an ungodly hour, is Ingolf.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Delroy Tate with the coachman, and he is the one who is just there to bring the other guys to the place they have to be. And without me, they wouldn't find it. That's exactly the problem.
Very nice. So, a couple of just setting the stage for those at home. I've talked to the players about this, about what to expect from today. Unlike a lot of our other historical games, this one does not have a specific setting. We're going to be using kind of movie logic with this, that it is a Northern California, mining town. We don't know specifically where it is. We don't know in specific relation where other things are. We're using the speed and pace and distance of plot for this particular adventure. This adventure also takes place in a alternate version of the Alien universe. So just if you are familiar with the source material from this or otherwise, I've made no effort to try and justify the fitting of these two things. We wanted to have a fun, xenomorph meets cowboys session without any of the baggage from the from the game. You will find familiar characters, ideas, or archetypes in this, because we are using otherwise the rules as written. I've reskinned some weapons and some other elements from the core book to fit in a more Wild West setting. And if you want to see these characters, I have them posted on the Assorted Games channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and you can find a link to that down below. Maybe I'll figure a way to post a single PDF of all the characters if you are interested in seeing them after the stream as well. We're also going to be using kind of a hybrid of the cinematic and the... I can't remember what the other mode is called. Cinematic and campaign mode. So we're using bits from the two different modes that you can play this RPG in the event you're wondering why we're doing certain things the way we are. So with that being said, guys, our scene opens on a rail station in what appears to be a fairly not isolated, but it is, because it is a good-sized town. There's at least a good, 2,000 Christian souls that likely occupy this town. It is, however, nestled in the valley, in somewhere around the slate gray mountains of Northern California that loom up around here. The valley is still, for the most part, green, but we can see that those white peaks are getting ever further down, suggesting that the encroaching winter will soon be here and soon cover the valley in this white blanket, and likely make some of the passes, including those to some of the deeper mining either communities or operations that are found in those mountains. Standing on the wooden platform, waiting for a train that we can see coming towards, are two individuals, one Caucasian man and one black man, one dressed in a black hat and long black coat, and another in a more tan and casual wear. You can see that while it's just faint it is definitely cold enough for them to have their breath turn into steam as it comes out. The Caucasian man has his hands stuffed in his pockets. The other man seems not as affected by the climate as what the man dressed in black was. What we know, guys, is that Blackjack, you have hired Delroy to accompany the urgent expedition that needs to head up to the Yutani mine. The Yutani mine is about 3 days' journey up into the mountains, and it seems to be something that is of, a great deal of secrecy. You're not sure what's been going on up there and why. The location of mines and such at this era, we can picture this is sometime around the 1840s, where the California Gold Rush is really in its heyday. So finding really, operations that would merit the attention of a corporation like the Wayland Mining Corporation, then that is certainly something you want to try and keep secret. But there's something different about this one, Blackjack. There's definitely been the amount of precautions that they have asked you to take are even more extreme than what you have before. For instance, keeping your party down to a minimum of 4. You haven't worked with the Mr. Fisher, the contact from the Wayland Mining Corporation before, but he certainly has a reputation. He has a reputation as previous to his turning over a leaf and becoming a company man fully. He was a rail agent and was someone who worked for some of the rail barons who crisscrossed the land with their railways. Do you think that you guys, that Blackjack and Delroy, have you run into one another before, or is this the first time that you've met, first time that you've hired on Delroy?
I think this might be the first time. That's always interesting for a little one shot like this.
Okay.
Strangers.
Okay. So how do you think he went about finding him? Was it through reputation? Did you ask around? Did you just, judge from your own kind of like ability to get the measure of a man?
I think it was a recommendation.
Okay. And Delroy, what caused you to go along with this? I can tell you that there is a bit of a ticking clock here. The the climate in the mountains is notoriously fickle. So if you're able to get yourself up to this mine that they want to get to, it's an open question as to whether you'll be wintering there or not. But what is it that pushed you over into taking this gig?
I guess somehow I'm friends with the guy who normally drives out there, and he wouldn't go. And I think someone has to do that, and has to earn the keep, and so I'm willing to go. And it seems like dangerous, but like when you're a fisherman and you go out for the storm, it's safer to go out and earn your keep than to stay in and just die slowly. So
yeah,
that's
awesome. Okay, then what I'd ask is, let's see here. Free League. There's no skill list on the GM screen. I don't know. Here we go. Would you, Blackjack, would you kindly give us an observation check, please? Let's get some dice rolling. And this is not for this specific thing. I want you, this is to reflect the time you've spent here thus far. I'm just going to check one thing before we started. It'll be...
there it is. Yeah, I found it. It's an interesting shape. You got to kind of look around it.
Yeah. All right, so you already got one success. Generally speaking, you're only ever going to need one success to complete any tasks, unless they are contested. If they are contested, then it's a matter of I was just looking at this. The ties. Every hit your adversary rolls eliminates one of your successes, but only the acting party can push their roll. What pushing does is you keep your hit and you re-roll everything that was not a hit, but you also increase your stress by 1.
Oh.
What that means is, so the 2 dice you're going to be rolling are the black ones you see on display there, and then your yellow ones, which are your stress die. Stress die are just like the others. 6s count as successes, same as the others. So the more stress you get, the more dice you get to roll. But if you roll 1 or more aliens, you panic.
I think it's a little early to push my luck here.
Okay, so you're satisfied. Let me see.
I don't want to have stress quite so quickly.
Stress is a mechanic that is designed to be part of the game.
No, I know,
yeah,
but I could panic. I don't know.
So
roll
the way
20
to panic,
me,
just
or...
you could judge the likelihood of panic. Panic as a scale of 1 to 11. When you
I see. One panic doesn't mean you're...
Well, if you panic, you roll 1d6 and you add your current stress level. If you roll a 6 or less, nothing happens. So just because you happen to roll a panic roll doesn't mean you actually panic.
Right.
It just means we need to check and see how things are. And, unfortunately, none of the guys... guys, it's a shame none of you picked Conrad Fisher, who I encourage him not to take, because he gets a -2 to his panic rolls because of his nerves of steel.
And the other thing that he does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the company man ability is pretty fucking awesome in Alien.
Don't worry, it's either the scientist or black guy dies first. So one of us will get Conrad.
So what you can, you haven't seen anything, Blackjack, but in the course of making your way around this town, I'm going to call it Bridgeport. And the reason I'm going to feel safe calling this community Bridgeport is because there's at least 3 of them that have been around in California since the 19th century. And some have been forced to rename themselves since. So if anyone is questioning, what's Bridgeport? Well, it doesn't really matter because there's so many of them. It's like Springfield or Smallville. You have not spotted anyone, Blackjack, that has been sort of following you around, but you can feel it. So you haven't got any proof yet that someone else is here, but it certainly feels like there's someone else shadowing you. You just can't put your finger on who it is or why they'd be here.
Right.
You've probably been here maybe 3 or 4 days. You've got yourself set up at the Myrtle Hotel. And a lovely accommodation, paid for, of course, by the company, so that's fine. And you and Delroy probably sorted things out about a day or 2 ago. So Delroy's got a team of horses that he's able to bring you along. Delroy, you also have a coach, like a carriage. So you could bring that if you'd like, as well as the horses. The horses are the ones who are less likely to get caught up in the snow, in the event that you get caught with snow early on. So I'll leave it to you and Blackjack to figure out whether you're taking the carriage with you. There will be advantages for bringing more gear and stuff like that. The downside is if you get caught in an early blizzard or even just an inclement snowfall, you might get stuck behind. So, on the train that you're waiting for, though, I guess first off, is there anything that passes between Blackjack and Delroy as you guys are waiting? Or are you just studying the train and waiting for it to show up?
I mean, I would just go with a friendly greeting, but I wouldn't be very talkative beyond that unless Delroy is creating conversation.
I think he is not right now, so that's
okay.
Trying to get the lay of the job.
We see a maybe a woman walk past, and the two of you kind of doff your hat to her, and the train comes rolling up, and after the cloud of steam that comes up as it comes to a halt, you see the door slide open, and a man who can only be likely Conrad Fisher from the way he carries himself steps off, looks around, locks eyes with you, Blackjack, and nods as if, I know my man. And coming behind Conrad Fisher is Dr. Gibbs. So why don't you tell us, John, what is Dr. Gibbs? What's the first impression we have of him?
Well, you see him he seems to be in somewhat of a hurry to catch up to Conrad, as though Conrad is just going to forget he's there and just ignore his presence entirely. And he's quickly stuffing a vial of something back into his pocket because he was just explaining to Conrad he's got the perfect cure for black lung for all the miners, and he's so glad he has this opportunity to go to the town and help them out. So he's kind of like a nervous shuffle, and he like wipes his head.
And the last thing that Fisher tells you then is like, yeah, of course, Dr. Gibbs, that's terrific, except for we're mining gold. And the thing opens up and they step out. So what...
Still a coal and oil in the lantern, sir.
So what he does is he's going to walk directly towards you. And as he reaches you, Blackjack, he says, looks over... Is this your man?
It's him, Delroy, sir.
Good. Jack Harris, this is Dr. Ira Gibbs. He is the one we are to keep safe up to the Yutani mine. Dr. Gibbs, easy. This is Black Jack Harris.
Dangerous looking fellow.
He certainly was, and so I'm led to believe. But now, he keeps danger away from us. Isn't that right, Jack?
Got it.
He looks over. What's your name, man?
Delroy Tate, sir.
Delroy Conrad Fisher. And this is Dr. Gibbs.
Pleasure.
I understand you're our local man.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here to get you there.
Good. That's a spirit. Well, you've had room set aside for us, Jack?
You got it.
A good night's sleep, and tomorrow morning we set out. I trust you've secured appropriate attire for us. This weather, I hear it's only worse in the mountains.
It will be.
Well then, show us to our quarters then, Jack.
I'll lead the way.
Okay. So, if you have any questions or if you want any, back and forth between you guys as you're going through, Dr. Gibbs, you can give us a observation check if you'd like as well.
Absolutely. He's trying to, eye up the two new people he have to see if he has anything he can sell them.
Okay. Ooh, so right now you have no successes on that, but there's two things. For one, you could push that roll, which will give you 1 stress, and then you'll get to re-roll everything that wasn't a 6. And you can push twice with wits rolls. So if you don't get successes on the second one, you can choose to go again. Your stress does go up by 1, and on the first re-roll, you don't get a stress dice. You have no chance of triggering a panic after the first roll.
I will play risky and push it.
Hell yeah. There you go. You got 1 success. Now, again, 1 is normally enough to pick up everything. If you wish to push it again, then you would be able to, you'd have to kind of re-roll and just put as your modifier -1 to roll the appropriate number of dice, because you can't, there isn't a push a second time option. But you would, you would roll the same amount, but one of them would be a stress dice.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's go for it. So
nice.
Just push it again.
So click on observation and hit -1 when it prompts you for a modifier.
Okay.
But I said it was the same number, but 1 stress.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, it is. No, it's not. It isn't the same number because you're also rolling 1 extra dice from the stress dice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that. Gotcha. All right. So unfortunately, you got 1 success, and you've got 2 stress. If you could change your stress to 2.
Oh, I thought it was just 1.
No, it's 1 stress for each time you push it.
Oh.
You do get to push it more than once, but you do get an extra stress each time.
Oh, each push increases by 1. Okay.
Correct. So if you there you go. Perfect. So you're a little on edge here, Dr. Gibbs.
Of course.
You know, yeah, out of your environment. What's going through your mind? That's getting you?
Oh, well, if they don't have a coal problem here, he's got to find some excuse. But he heard gold, so gold is pretty good. So he's already thinking about ways he can take advantage of the gold situation.
I think it's more of your archaeological expertise is what they've hired you for. You would know that. They don't need your help with like geological engineer,
Yeah, I mean, he's got some training in archaeology. He may have overly inflated his skill in archaeology, so he's trying to take the easy way out with cure and medicine.
Okay.
But yeah, he's starting to get more nervous when Conrad doesn't, need the other alchemy stuff he's really good with. So
Okay.
he's sweating more than he should be in this cold climate.
Then Delroy, why don't you give us an observation check as well? Let's let everyone get a time at bat here.
Yeah, that's.
This doctor man don't look very trustworthy.
Do you wish to push that?
Oh, come on. I think I should push once as well.
Nice. There you go. So again, too, you can feel that there is something. I think if you think back to your friend who bailed on this thing, you're maybe thinking that like he did this for up until around 2 months ago, and then to suddenly refuse to go back to the place. And as such, they've been trying to find for about 2 months someone to assist them, beyond just local hires to go up into the mountains, and or non-local hires. And the way that the doctor is suspiciously looking around, and the way that Blackjack is watching the crowd as opposed to watching where he's going, it's maybe just triggering you like, what is this thing you signed up for?
Why is everybody so nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me nervous as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry, I'm just going to double check. I forgot to check how, apart from treatment and whatnot, I think stress goes down on its own, but I don't remember how. So, give me 2 seconds here.
I think we could calm each other or something.
Yeah, you can calm each other. And
I have just the drug for that.
here we go. Stress level. Gaining stress level. Relieving stress. For every full turn, 5 to 10 minutes spent resting in a safe area that you know is secure from enemies, your stress level is reduced by 1 point. You cannot make any skill rolls while resting. And once per act or once per game session, you can interact with your signature item in some way to reduce your stress level by 1 step. Speaking of which, I didn't actually generate your signature items because I wanted you guys to do that. And let's try rolling on here.
Yeah.
And if these are inappropriate, if we find like the first one is too sci-fi oriented, we can reskin it. But I've also got Walking Dead in Reach, and it has a signature item component to it as well. So hold up, where's that sheet? Signature. I'm kind of glad that both Modiphius and and Free League have gotten away from this like printing white on black thing, because this is very hard to read.
Yeah, this is the best thing about the new Coriolis edition is that it is not. I don't
Black
know
and
what
white. Ditto for Walking Dead. Walking Dead is so much easier to read than some of their other games. Okay, so for the Marshal, signature item. Here are some examples. Photo of a loved one, a dented flask with an inscription on the front, or news clipping of an unsolved case.
And do I roll for this, or do I choose it?
I thought you roll. You roll in Walking Dead, I think, but you get to choose.
Oh.
What do you think? Examples are photo of a loved one, a dented flask with an inscription on the front, or news clipping of an unsolved case.
I think he's got a dented flask with an inscription on it.
All right. Then for Delroy, a tool belt, which could be like a bridle or something like that, or a saddle. Photo of a partner, or a crucifix or religious symbol?
I think he's this with do-it-yourself thing, that this goes with the tool belt.
Tool belt,
somehow.
okay. Yeah. So like it's like a what is it, a farrier's thing, like the way you would like clean out hooves and stuff like that, right? Like the way
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the scientist, an academic award, an unfinished scientific paper, or blackmail letters.
Blackmail letters.
Someone knows you're a fraud, Dr. Gibbs. Then that is the mood. So that brings you back to the Myrtle Hotel. Blackjack, have you taken any steps to secure the place? Again, you haven't spotted anyone, but there just seems like you have a feeling that you're being watched. And it definitely, I think you can probably pick up that Dr. Gibbs is looking pretty out of his element here.
I feel like I've just taken the opportunity to sort of case who's staying here, but, you know, beyond that, not really at this point. Anything more.
So let's quickly talk about recovering from panic as well, only because there is a use of command that you can do, I believe, that reduces stress. And you're quite good at command, I think, there, Blackjack. So, let's see. Oh, you can't. It's his analysis thing is you can stop him from panicking. If another character comes to your aid when you're panicking and makes a command check, then you can... Yeah, you can recover. So... You guys check in. Anything you guys, Delroy, I'm assuming you've got a place somewhere in town that you're staying, so you're not necessarily having to stay with them. But you'll maybe help with the luggage and whatnot to get them there. You've got, give Conrad or Mr. Fisher his keys. He'll head up to his room. What about the rest? Anything you wish to do?
Is there a tavern or a little restaurant or anything in here?
A saloon?
Yeah,
yes, there is.
Yeah. I look at the other two. I'm heading to the saloon for a couple of drinks. You're welcome to join.
I do believe that a drink would help strengthen my fortitude in this chilly place. I will join you, sir.
I come with you.
Okay.
Good man.
Fisher says, early to bed, early to rise, as the good book says. We'll see you tomorrow. He'll head back tomorrow. So the three of you head on over to the Bridgeport Saloon, and it is a dive that has been done up pretty inside, which is not uncommon among some of these gold rush towns, where someone is flush with money to display whatever's whatever's been purchased, whatever is on display. But they haven't bothered to rebuild the actual structure itself, so the structure is a dive. It's the where the entire building is worth $3,000, but there's a $10,000 mirror hanging behind the bar.
Right.
So you guys get in there, you settle down for a drink. There's someone playing piano off in the corner. There is some kind of gambling going on. Do you have anything you wish to talk about, or anything you wish to do before you're, before we cut to you guys hitting the sack? I will tell you that once you settle down, once you get a drink in your hand, both Dr. Gibbs and Delroy, you can reduce your stress level by 1.
Yeah. I'm going to do one of the typical leave the bottle to the waitress.
Okay. Just all right then.
So, Doctor, you're a physician?
Yes, in a manner. My studies are a wide range of subjects.
Oh.
Can you stitch up a bullet wound?
With flowery designs, if you prefer, but yes.
Good
I'm
enough for my
quite adroit
use.
with a needle.
That'll do.
Anything else you wish to discuss? Ooh. Then
You. So I mean, all of this is very secretive. I understand, but do you know why we have to go to the mine just in this condition, in this weather?
I don't ask questions.
Okay. Okay, boss.
I'm a little unsure as why to the necessary urge and rush to get there, but it pays well, I hear.
you're not wrong about that. It's something you can all kind of nod to.
Yeah.
That does track. Now, what I was looking for.
While we're sitting here, you see Jack pull out a dented flask and fill it up with the whiskey from the bartender.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the symbol on the flask?
Probably looks like an old sheriff's thing or something, right? And it's like, maybe from a town that he used to work in.
Okay.
Some inscription of, for saving someone's life or something, some thank you for saving my son or something like that.
Just for the non-Americans too, we are still a good 10-15 years off from the Civil War. This is pre-Civil War California. My mind went to like, oh, maybe it's a regimental thing, so I had to look up the date for it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is well before.
Yeah. No, it's more like I said, like, thanks for saving my son or something like that. Like a personal memento from someone.
Okay. Then why don't, let's see here. Why don't we have Jeffrey give us a D66 roll. I think you could do that at the top of your character sheet. And Ingolf, give us a D66 roll, please. And John, give us a 3D6 roll, please.
Oh, there it is. Found it.
Okay, thank you. Excellent, thank you guys. Okay.
First time I've seen the die 66.
Yeah, they use it quite a bit in these Year Zero games.
Yeah, it's a weird notation because it does not have 66 faces.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an unusual one because you don't get you can't just roll D66. So what you find is as you're sitting there, you can hear something unusual, perhaps for a saloon. There's the sound of kids outside. It's early winter, so it's gotten dark quite early, but they're making a lot of noise.
It is strange.
Yeah, for them to be up. Dr. Gibbs, if you look outside, through either the glass or through the swinging doors, you see the kids seem to be looking up, and there's more than a few people who are stopping and beginning to look up as well.
He'll one moment, fellows, and he's going to reach down and pull a little tiny pair of spectacles and go outside and kind of like see what they're looking at.
See, if you step outside, what you see is that it seems as if this is very, very far south for this, but it seems as if the early darkened sky is alight with shimmering lights. Something you've read about, the Aurora Borealis, or something similar. The kids are all laughing and pointing up and whatnot. People are, drunks and families and cowboys, prospectors are all stopping and kind of looking up at this shimmering blue and violet lights in the skies.
He'll mumble something about we were really far south for those, and then he'll pull out a little notepad and stencil kind of like a drawing as he's watching it.
Sure.
Then put the date on it.
I'm assuming that's a relaxing activity for him as well.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
you can clear that last level of stress if you like. While Gibbs is gone, Blackjack and Delroy, anything you guys talk about?
So, do you think the new guy will make the journey easier.
Oh, he seems a little sketchy to me.
Yeah. You know, there's this other guy called Jack in town who sells these oils and ointments to cure anything. He reminds me a bit of him.
Yeah. I don't go much for ointments. It's just the only liquid I need, and that's another schlux of his whiskey.
All right. Then, anything else you guys wish to do with your evening, or anything you wish to happen in the evening?
Yeah, I suppose that Delroy, as the professional, has packed and has everything ready for the trip. I mean, it's not like this. Everything has been planned already, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not like I will realize, oh gosh, we need a tent or something. It's everything is there already.
Okay.
Let's see the Dr. Gibbs.
Is there the only thing I would is there a lot of crime in town, so that I would have to fear that someone has stolen part of the thing, so I would have to check before we...
Yeah, it would probably not be a bad thing to make sure that the stuff's not sitting around. There are people coming in and out of here, so keeping the supplies safe is probably not a bad plan at all.
Yes, boss, we have to check for the cargo and everything. You know, sometimes things go missing here.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We either got to put Doc to bed first or take him with us. Let's go find him.
Okay.
We'll find him outside, pointing at the lights with the kids if they're around, and trying to explain what those actually are, but we still don't know anything about them yet. They're not normally this far south. You got to go way north, past Washington.
Doc, since you spent so much time outside too, I think that maybe you weren't quite paying attention to the climate. So why don't you give us a stamina check?
Yeah, he has some booze in him, and you don't feel the cold very much at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Stamina.
Yeah, that's true too. It's probably not. It'll be above the strength.
Yeah. So if you change the ratio of the character sheet, then it goes from this Rosetta effect to just a list.
Oh. Okay.
I made that one.
You could push that if you'd like.
Don't know. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
Boom. Nope.
Okay. So what that means is, Doc, you just, I guess, have lost track, and it's when. First off, you're going to take another level of stress, and you're actually going to take 1 point of damage. So reduce your health by 1. What happens when you run out of health is you become broken. And when you are broken, then we roll on the critical injury table. So you're out here, and I think Delroy, maybe you're on your way out to go check on the supplies once again. You've left Blackjack with his bottle of rot gut, and
totally left my coat inside.
Yeah, and Dr. Gibbs, you're trying to write something down, and you realize your hands are trembling so hard that you can't get a clean line on it. I mean, if you look over, Delroy, you can see that this greenhorn is just ill-equipped for the weather.
Damn it. Yeah. Gosh. I think, Jack, we have to take the coach. I'm pretty sure that sitting him on a horse all the ride, it will not.
So I will tell you what you could do. The winter clothing that you have would grant +2 to any stamina saves against the inclement weather. So that could help. You could go and get this guy bundled up in his, buffalo coat before you go riding up. But definitely he is not dressed. Whatever he's wearing right now is not suited for this climate. But yeah, the coach would also keep him completely safe inside. But if it broke down and he didn't have those clothes,
Yeah. I think we will take the clothes with us in any case.
okay.
But yeah, I'm not sure really, but I think that it will be easier on the horses to pull the coach than to have the riders. But I'm not sure about that actually. But maybe it's just we will be a little bit slower, but it will be safer in general because
Okay.
something like that.
Blackjack, you know that
idea.
speed definitely is of the essence here, but if you don't get there, you don't get there.
Well, we got to keep this guy alive.
Yeah.
So I think, Doctor, you come back inside realizing just how fucking cold you are. Your lips are a little blue. What do you say?
He's like, I forgot my coat, and he throws it on and then scoots over towards the fire and just turns his backside to it and tries to warm up.
There's a horde that comes by and places a blanket on top of you.
Let's get you up to your room, Doc.
Thank you. But warm up first. Otherwise, risk of hypothermia.
Someone hands him another shot from your bottle as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure whether this is a good thing, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It is definitely a North American folktale that it helps warm you up.
But in those times, I mean, it was commonly accepted still in medicals. So.
Yeah. So if you take a shot of that, you can relieve your one stress, Dr. Gibbs.
Did you fellas see the lights outside?
What lights?
The Aurora Borealis. Very rare this far south.
If you look outside, Jack, it is weird. Like there's almost, it's not bright like a colored light, but there's a faint reflection of blues and violets off of the faces that are looking up at the sky.
Yeah. I'll go sort of stick my head out where I can see it.
Yeah, I
Come
don't know.
back in.
You think you were ever marshaling a place north enough to, I don't know where, Harris is a name that could be either north or south, so.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's been around, so I think he's probably tried out, quite a few different states of.
Yep. So
maybe
somewhere
he's seen
in
him
the
before,
Dakota
yeah.
Territories, maybe,
Yeah.
where, yeah. What's
Comes
his
back
impression
in.
of this?
I guess some would say they're beautiful. He doesn't know they shouldn't be here.
Is it
Really.
a good sign or a bad sign? So I'm asking Delroy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think this is not a good sign. This is just. I mean, for him, it's maybe not so far about the geographic location, but it means like it will get extraordinarily cold or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's a reasonable.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, and now we have this guy who almost freezes to death just going outside of the pub. Basically, this is weird. Of the saloon. That's
Some people.
yeah.
Dr. Gibbs does give the passing impression of a man with money, so he definitely has made at least one friend of female persuasion right now who's encouraging him to rest a little more comfortably upstairs.
And I think I should roll something here. Okay. Knowing how diseases are rampant within brothels and saloons, he's a little bit more careful than that.
Yep.
But
The French disease is rife in, which I think was,
nonetheless.
yeah,
so
famously called, depending on where you were, it was from one place, one border over.
He fishes out a nickel and a small vial and says, for your hospitality.
That seems to satisfy her, although you do lose the blanket. Then, anything else you guys wish to do while you're in the saloon or just getting to know one another?
No, I think we have to, we took enough damage.
Yeah.
So then, Dr. Gibbs, with a good night's rest, you're able to restore your health and restore your stress. So, and one thing I said too, did anyone have an agenda beyond what was set on their character sheet before too? So if you did, just remember to tell me when you feel you've done it, and you'll get your story point for that. As well, if at any point you feel like, okay, I know who my buddy is, I know who my rival is, let us know too, and you can have both. So and you just fill it in your character sheet who your buddy is, who your rival is, if any, and then just remember when you are doing something where that would come into play, you get an extra dice on it. So, the evening, blackjack. Now that Mr. Fisher's here and Dr. Gibbs are here, is there anything? Tell us about your security precautions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that his security precaution so far in this community has just been intimidation mostly. Like he sort of checked everyone out, but like, you know, he's not overly cautious. He's more goes around with an air trying to make everyone else cautious of him, so to speak. Like rather than acting cautious, he sort of, you know, exudes it to other people to sort of make them afraid of him. So, you know, and maybe he's, you know, maybe he hasn't even been in that many gunfights in the last little while. He's, you know, a little rusty because, you know, people are scared. He looks like the kind of guy who's gonna shoot you dead, right? So he kind of relies on that more than actually, you know, being tough. And I think he's had some hard things happen to him in his life, and so,
like what?
You know, I think just like lost some people he's cared about. You know, maybe been forced out of a community or two due to like just, you know, circumstance, maybe some circumstance beyond his control. Some bandits came in, some people got hurt, the community blamed him.
I really want to know the story behind that flash now, because I feel like you earned it, but then probably lost the...
Yeah, like maybe it was worse, you know, like I saved the son, and then 3 days later, the woman who gave it to me was killed, or, you know, like just like some kind of bad stuff's happened to him in his life, you know? Yeah. He doesn't really talk about it. He's one of those guys, you know, you don't, you know, you just live with it. And I think he sort of... It's why he keeps to himself now and sort of tries not to be too friendly with people, because he's sort of like, he used to be that friendly sheriff, the, you know, the friendly marshal, but now like after the sort of scars of life, he is cautious with opening up to people. Okay. Doesn't want to lose people he cares about. But
what's his attitude towards the group then? The party that you've hired on with?
I think at this point it's sort of just like, not that it's just a job, but it's like he's happy to have the job. And as far as the people he's with, you know, he's reluctant to, again, become attached to them, I think, more than anything. It's not that he's...
So you would probably know that Delroy obviously can handle himself. This is a dude who's, you know, found his thing here. Dr. Gibbs, I'm guessing your impression is he probably is not as capable.
Yeah, he's going to need help.
Is that someone who you'd be willing to help, or someone who's going to piss you off?
Because
I can see it going either way.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's a mix. Like, he's willing to protect him, but he's annoyed that the person that he's being tasked with protecting is like kind of, you know, maybe not the best at protecting themselves. So yeah.
So maybe that explains why,
frustrating.
You know, you and Delroy are up, you've got your full flask and you guys are ready to go, when it seems like you look over and someone has just come over to Dr. Gibbs and seems a little annoyed with him. And Ira, what this fella comes over and says to you is, were you talking to Sandra? Are you talking to my Sandy? And even for this close, you could tell that he is, he's got a bit of smell of alcohol in his breath. And I think Blackjack and Dr. Gibbs, do you both have at least 6 in wits plus observation?
No, I only have 5.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then you would also see there are 2 bigger fellas kind of waiting in the wings right near this guy, who seem as if, like, this guy heading over is picking a fight in some way. And Dr. Gibbs, this is coming out of nowhere. Like, you've just finished kind of fixing your jacket, you stuffed your stuff away, you know, you put your glass down, turned around to leave away from the fire, and this guy's suddenly right there.
Okay. He will say, oh my good man, you frightened me something terrible. Sandy, is this the lass that needed some medical aid last night?
He looks at you. You were just talking to Sandy.
This morning? Oh no, sir. It must have been
And I
someone
don't
else.
like the way you were. And he shoves you. I don't like the way you were talking to him.
I jump up.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm gonna put my hand on sort of this guy's shoulder from behind.
And as soon as you start stalking over, you realize that these 2 big fellas have been waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
And Delroy, you're seeing this kind of like all transpire now. Blackjack has got up. He's moving towards where this guy is, and these 2 guys who look like the kind of thugs. I think maybe you've seen them around. They're the guys you hire to beat up people.
Right.
You know? So they seem to be moving to intercept Blackjack. Why don't we drop into initiative, guys, just so we can see how this works. I'm not suggesting there's going to be violence.
Oh, well.
I always
there
be
may
prepared in the event that there is. Okay, here we go. So, and we'll just do for all of the bad guys with 1. Yeah, in which case, we're almost into month 6 of no initiative trackers getting deleted, so let's stay on that course. All right, then, here we go. Deal 2. There we are. Oh, they're up first. Oh, boy. And hold on, that can't be right. There we go. All right, so then what is going to happen? What this means is, so on your turn, at the start of each round, you guys have a fast action and a slow action. Each turn, it'll refresh, and you get to take either a fast or a slow. If you want to defend against something, like you want to block an attack as comes in, or you want to dive out of the way of a gun or something like that, you need to save a fast action for that. So just be mindful that that is that will be required of you. You can take if you haven't had your turn yet, you can spend your fast action to react to something going on. It just means you don't get a fast action then. I think this is all the same zone, so everything's short range. It's just that the 2 guys the big guy is engaged with, or the mustachioed guy is engaged with Dr. Gibbs, and these guys are moving as their fast action to engage with you, Blackjack. And they're going to do Overwatch to try and, if you try and push past them to get to him, they're going to try and grab you.
Okay.
The guy who is coming in on you, though, Doctor, he is going to try and grab you. So you could use athletics and dexterity to... what is it? Hold on. I'm going to look it up because I can't remember. I think it's strength in close combat or agility and athletics. No, it's not. Mobility is your sort of... Well, maybe it is mobility. Mobility is what defaults to stealth as well. Let me double check here. Here we go. So grappling is an opposed close combat. Oh, I need to win close combat first. Okay, close combat uses close combat skill for... you can block using close combat, or you can retreat. You make a mobility roll to try and move out of the way. Nope, that's not right. That's not right. I think you can. Maybe you can only use Dodging and range attacks. Let me see here. Cover, Overwatch. Sorry, I'm always confused by this. Doesn't take much, though. So blocking is in normal order. And so I don't think you can use... what the mobility roll is for is basically to get out of... it's to avoid attacks of opportunity. So really all you can do is close combat, it looks like.
Which I have no skill in.
No, but you do have strength, though, so you just roll your strength instead. And remember, he needs to... If you're going to spend your fast action doing that, he needs to beat you.
Okay.
Okay, so this guy's not super strong, but he is a little quick. We go.
Yeah, but blocking then is a fast action, so you lose your fast action. I
Exactly.
suppose.
Yeah. Okay. And I got one hit.
Strength, here goes.
You could push that as well.
Yeah, I will try that.
Okay.
Nope.
Now, what you could do is just get grappled, or you could spend your story point to get an automatic hit.
You mean automatic meet his...
Yeah, automatic success. And because your success takes away his, that means he doesn't succeed.
Yeah, let's do the story point, and he'll kind of like half dodge behind a chair at the last moment.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you said a sidestep behind. No, sir, really, I think there's a misunderstanding here.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so he's not able to get a hold of you. That is it for them. Delroy, you're up next.
Yeah, I think I would just try to actually hit one of the guys
Okay.
that are blocking Blackjack, because I don't think they are there for looking nice. And
Yeah, and I don't think...
yeah, a good offense is maybe better than just trying to...
Yeah, and I'm trying to check here. So for...
I think it would be close combat just to...
Yeah, it's close combat. And NPCs typically don't block. So it's just you go right ahead. Holy smokes. Now, I didn't give you...
So then this will be the stunt thing where you can do additional things with the extra successes, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think... How much damage is unarmed, dude? Is it 1 or is it 0 plus whatever your successes are?
I think 1 point of damage...
Serious. I think like the knife only does 1 point of damage, which makes me think it might be 0.
No, it does 2, I suppose. No,
Oh,
this
knife
is
does 2.
damage. Wait a minute. No, this is bonus damage. Yeah, damage from the hunting knife is 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the unarmed might
Yeah,
be...
but I could just
Close combat. Unarmed attacks are damage 1. Armor is doubled. So what would you like to do? I'm looking at the skills. Other ones, stunts are like knock the opponent to the ground, inflict more damage, outmaneuver your enemy and trade initiative scores with him, taking effect next turn.
Yeah, I think I could pin my enemy. There is this thing.
Okay.
Try to pin your enemy in a tight, or not try. You pin your enemy in a tight clinch, and because I have 2 additional things, I could have him to the ground as well. So basically he goes down, and I get him in some kind of hold. So.
Awesome. And then and then you also do 1 point of damage on him. All right. So I'll mark that here.
Yeesh.
All right, so you grab one, and he is on the ground. Yeah, Delroy does not fuck around. Dr. Gibbs, what are you doing?
I've already used my fast action to block, or to get out of the way. So I suppose I will attempt to persuade this motley man to back down and think about it. You guys just got face palmed in the ground. We don't have to fight.
Okay, so why don't you give us? I think that'll give you a +1 to this. Why don't you give us a manipulation check, please?
Okay. Oh.
That's a success. Did you roll the extra dice as well?
I put the 1 in there, yeah.
Put the 1 there. Okay, great. He's gonna pause for a second. He's not. You haven't broken him yet, but his stress level is going up. Blackjack, what are you doing?
I'm gonna sort of just walk up to these guys, and I'm gonna say, I don't think this is gonna go how you boys want.
Okay.
And sort of like intimidate them.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a command?
That man there's with me.
Okay. Why don't you give us a command check, please? And get +1 as well, too, from Delroy taking that 1 down. And remember, don't put the plus sign in. It's 1. You want to push that?
Yeah, let's push.
Oh, remember as well, you've got the badge you can flash out to give you a +2 the first time it's revealed in a scene.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, sorry, I forgot about that. So, yeah. How do I do that?
We can go back if you want. Why don't you just roll 2 dice?
Yeah, so maybe when he pulls his jacket back, he's got the badge.
Yeah, your fast
there.
action was to show them this and then make the roll. So I think at the top of the page, it should give you an option to roll some
6,
dice.
Yeah.
Oh, just roll 2d6 there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What? Oh.
Neither was a 6.
Neither's a 6. All right. So then if you wish to push that roll,
yeah,
you could do that.
Yeah. Let's do that.
And then roll another 2 dice again. Nice.
Another 2d6.
Nope.
No. Okay. So that's 2 successes. All right. So I think that the one guy locks eyes with you. He sees the Pinkerton badge. He realizes what is kind of going on here. You look confused, Ingolf. What's...
No, isn't it 3? 2 + 1?
I think hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It keeps the first 6, yeah. It keeps it.
Yeah. It keeps it and rolls it forward.
And it's the blue bar that's stress?
Blue bar is your stress. Yeah, which it already tracks, actually, like the sheets automatically when you push the roll.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
That's what wasn't working before when I had the quotations of the thing. It was allowing you to roll, but you couldn't push anything, so... Yeah, it's a great sheet. So, this guy looks at you, and you can tell the moment when he bursts. And what he says as he's walking past you, ain't worth the money. And he walks right towards the door. This guy's turn. He is paused, so I'm going to lose his slow action. He's still got his fast action to potentially defend. The guy that you're grappling, Delroy, I think he says, all right, let me go. Get off of me. I'm done.
Yeah. I let him go.
Okay, oof. And he kind of skitters away from you. Oh, I think you broke my arm. He gets up, and he's muttering about that as he heads out the door. Delroy, you're up next.
Yeah, I think... So, does the other guy still look like he wants to attack?
He looks like he isn't deciding, and his attention seems to be on Dr. Gibbs. He may not have realized that his goons are gone.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just get over and try to grab him as well, just to make some reasonable...
Okay. Go ahead and give us a close combat roll.
Let's see. Well, I think I could push that.
You absolutely can. You can actually push it twice because of your...
But, yeah, I could. But
Yeah,
I think
but
once
you don't
is
need
enough.
to. All right. So that's... I take it the one is to grapple him?
Yeah.
So you grab this guy. He is way smaller than you. And he's like, hey, what's... And now he's fully in your control.
So and maybe I turn him a little bit so he faces Jack, so we
Okay.
can have a talk.
Dr. Gibbs, seems that Delroy has taken care of your aggressor. Oh, you have muted, John.
Yeah. Does he still look like he's got some fight in him?
Yo, Timo.
Yeah, well,
So sorry, John. What'd you say?
does the guy look like he still have some fight in him?
I mean, he's fighting in the sense that he's got Delroy, grabbing him, and Delroy's much bigger.
This is the part where you see that Dr. Ira Gibbs actually has some sort of backbone to him, and he'll use his fast action to reach into his coat, and he pulls out his Derringer, and he cocks it and says, well, there is also this option, and he points it at him, but he doesn't shoot. He's just like, holding it there steady.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a command check?
Okay. I'm not that great
See
at
how
command.
that... Yeah, but you're acting under stress, so you got some extra dice.
Hey, look at that. That's
There you
succeeded.
go. So he's gonna... the gun is pointed directly at his head. Blackjack, what do you make of this?
That gun away, Dr. Gibbs.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the gun doesn't shake at all. I mean, it's just rock steady.
Okay.
Yeah. Gibbs will put it away if Blackjack tells him to, but...
Okay.
Now you get out of here.
You let him go?
Yeah.
Delroy?
Yeah. I'm a little bit puzzled, but if he says so, I mean,
Okay.
he's the boss.
So he
pays
lets
my
him...
bills.
Nice. So you let him go, and he scrambles out the front door as fast as he can, sparing only a look back once he's through the doors to look back at you guys and scowl, and then he heads off into the night.
As soon as he's out the door, the gun actually starts shaking in his hands. He pops open and says, I forgot to load it, and sticks it back in his shirt.
So, I believe you were getting up to leave.
Yeah.
Just,
Time for
I mean,
bed.
I'm from this town, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this guy a local, and is there a real connection to Sandy, or is he more like a thug trying to start a fight and get something out of it?
For everything that came out of here, it is definitely... here, give us a... Hold on here. I'm going to give you some extra dice because you're from here. I know that year zero games, you're encouraged not to roll for everything, but I do like using the dice to tell stories. Why don't you give us a observation check, but get +2 to it for just your general experience in here.
Okay, so I have an idea at least.
Yeah, so this is not a guy who that's likely just nonsense. This he's a thug. Him and his buddies are thugs. He's convinced his two idiot friends who are bigger and stronger than him to be muscle when someone needs something done. There's a lot of people who are like that coming in here. Sometimes they're hired on as bodyguards. Sometimes they're hired on to rough up somebody else. They'll take money to be bullies and beat up anybody. What is likely the case is somebody hired them to start something here. You heard that guy say something about not worth the money. That makes it doubly certain.
Yeah. Dr. Gibbs, you have any people not liking you here?
This is my first experience here, so I doubt I've made enemies yet.
Yeah, yes, especially this kind of yet, which was even there when he didn't say it. This puzzles me a bit. Like, I have not made enemies so far. Wait, what?
People like to blame the doctor when the treatment doesn't work the first time, or
Yeah, I see. I understand. Okay.
it's much of as art as it is a science.
It's Blackjack. Delroy seems to be getting at something here.
What are you thinking, Delroy?
someone. I mean, it was not a coincidence. They were just heading straight for the doctor. So,
Yeah, you think they're starting a fight with the doctor on purpose?
yeah, that I would think as well, but I think they did not choose the doctor randomly, but he was the target even before they entered the saloon.
Target?
You've been thinking about that feeling you've had, Blackjack, of being followed. You haven't spotted anyone, too. This is yet another shadowy, unknown person seemingly taking steps against someone in your charge.
Oh, this isn't good. Well,
so here's one thing
why.
you've seen. You know what? Do you want to give us an observation check and ask me some questions, Blackjack?
Yeah. I do.
Oh, potential panic. I love it. So
So
give
you
us
said I roll a d6?
no, I think there is a panic button on.
Probably,
your,
yeah.
on the sheet
Considering
somewhere.
it's a good sheet. Right?
There's always a panic button somewhere.
Don't press the panic button.
I really did enjoy seeing the panic. You know, it might be is under your stress or somewhere around where stress is.
Yeah, the stress itself is just to the left of it. There's a cube, and it says panic.
There you go. So tell us what's going through Blackjack's mind.
I mean, this is just supposed to be, it's not supposed to be this hard. It's, what do they want? Why is somebody causing problems? That's what's going through his mind. Just sort of like, can't it just be easy?
Oh man, is there a job that's gone like terribly wrong before with you? Is that why you almost lost your shit over this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but you did get it a success though. So, do you have a question for me?
Yeah, like, do I know of any rival group or
So if you take a look at your investigator thing, that gives a good idea of examples. You don't need to use those, but it'll help you frame kind of like what kind of information you can gather out of it.
Is that on the PDF?
No, under talents at the top right.
Oh,
there's buttons underneath there. You've got investigator and you've got authority. If you click on that, it should display the text right above there.
Oh, yeah. It's just on authority. That's why I didn't. Okay.
The three questions they give are: what happened here? Is there anything hidden here? And if so, where? Are there any details here that are out of place? Something that's out of the ordinary?
Right. I think the question I would ask is like, is this out of the ordinary?
Definitely. I mean, do you feel that Delroy has told you that already?
Well, not necessarily. Out of the ordinary for this job.
So what it is?
I mean, this is.
Let me ask you this then: why would someone pick a fight with the weakest person in your group?
Easy pickings, I guess.
To really try and give beat up stuff. Like, what do you think that those three could have beaten you guys up, or could there have been some other goal for trying to create a fight here? If you were having a fight here, go ahead, Ingolf. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
I see. Yeah.
Distract us. So I think we should really, really have a look at our equipment.
Yes, we better check the cart. Or the stuff we've prepared.
Well, the equipment is definitely one thing. Is there anything else?
Oh, Conrad.
Mr. Fisher.
Yeah, there is one more of us. That's right. We better check. Okay, you check, Delroy. You check the gear. I'm gonna go look in on Fisher.
I'll go along with Delroy as if he needs a hand.
You stay with him.
Delroy, you take one stress from rolling your eyes. No. All right, so Delroy and Dr. Gibbs go racing off in one direction towards the your supplies, and Blackjack, you're racing back to the hotel. Who gets to their location first?
I guess Blackjack, because he has no impedance on the way.
He has no Dr. Gibbs slowing him down.
I have ranks and mobility. I can run.
So what, Blackjack, you go racing through town, and you know you're it's cold too. Like your lungs are probably getting a little. It's cold enough tonight to have your lungs chill with taking such deep gulps of early winter air. And what you find as you race into the hotel is, it seems like there's been a bit of a kerfuffle here because Mr. Fisher has shot 2 men dead.
Oh.
It seems that there were some other folks who were coming to snoop on him as well, both armed with knives.
Oh, geez, Conrad.
He looks at you. I think, Jack, I prefer Mr. Fisher.
Yeah, well, sure, Mr. Fisher. See, you've had some trouble.
Did you have some
Clearly.
yourself? You look out of breath.
Yeah. Some cheap thugs came at us. The tavern downstairs.
I bet $100 it's competitors.
You expecting this kind of trouble?
I was not expecting it, but I was prepared for it. You can see he cracks open his revolver and he's reloading this very fancy. It's similar a model to what you have, only where yours is this like grizzled, well-oiled, well-used machine. His is just this very high-end, glistening, you know, freshly made by a high-end gunsmith kind of thing.
True gentleman's weapon.
Oh, Fisher is absolutely no gentleman. He just has money. There's a big difference. So that's what you find. Delroy and Dr. Gibbs, where do you think, Delroy, you've got everything stored? Do you have like a livery where you have things stored?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, some kind of station. I think if he does this kind of scouting and doing this coach tours regularly, he will have some place to store everything.
Sure. So if not owning a livery, maybe you got a stall or something there.
Yeah, and maybe that's even the place where he sleeps, because that's...
Yep. So as you come racing over, what's the it's dark, and what you can see that there are someone has a lantern and is moving in the livery.
Okay, so maybe it's good to make use of that pistol of yours again, Dr. Gibbs.
He'll reluctantly look down and pull it out and slowly start loading it.
Yeah. And I will. Yeah, I have a scatter gun, which seems to be like something like a shotgun, I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that seems a good idea to just grab it and then.
Are you planning on sneaking in, or are you just walking in and seeing what's there?
I think maybe it's just enough to shout, "Hey, who's there? What are you doing?"
Okay.
And then.
Why don't you give us a command check, and we'll give you a +1 on that because you're going to be startling them, I think, as you're coming in.
Yeah, okay. That is no good.
You want to push it?
No. Actually, not, I suppose. No.
Okay. So you're shouting as you're going in which case, let's draw some cards here. Let me get another thug out here. We'll move him up here. And put these guys down here. There are 2 in here. Yep. And deal cards. Boom. Oh, Blackjack, you're actually not there. Hold up. Let me...
No, not yet.
Shuffle and deal. There we go. Dr. Gibbs, you are up first. What would you like to do?
After, Delroy shouts out like that, he'll nervously look around and just point his gun to the air and shoot off a round and says, you better get out while the getting's good.
Okay.
You know it's good for you.
So why don't you give us command roll as well? We'll give you +1 for kind of shooting up in the air.
You can tell Mr. Gibbs does not like to fight.
It's pretty good, though. All right, so one of them is drops whatever he's carrying and goes racing to the... there's probably 2 ways into the livery, and he is going racing off out the back. The next one, he has a handful of supplies that so maybe there's like a saddlebag full of stuff and whatnot, and he sees you've come in, Delroy. He sees you've got that scattergun out, so he's going to drop the supplies. He is going to draw his knife, and he's going to race into engage. I think moving at short range to engage is not a fast action, but let me confirm that. Movement, here we go. During combat, it's a fast action to run from one zone to a neighboring zone. Okay, so within the same zone, he can engage without an action. So he's coming in with a knife as well, Delroy. Mm-hmm. What would you like to... Do you want to try and block this?
Yes, obviously. I guess,
you want to get stabbed?
I guess the scattergun is heavy enough to count as blocking.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're sort of like battering this side. All right, so go ahead and give us a close combat roll. I got 1 success. No, I got 0 successes. Forgive me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I got 1.
Incredible. See, now I wonder if close combat. Here we go. Resolution.
Yeah, I can counterattack.
Counterattack. Yeah. Do you want to counterattack?
Butt to the face.
Yeah.
So let's say it's 1 point of damage from it.
Yeah.
Whaff! So you smash this guy across the face. Then Delroy, it's your turn. What are you doing?
So that was my fast action, and I guess I don't know. The slow action is I could attack as well, or
heck yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so, but I would not shoot him, but actually try to
club him again. Sure.
Yeah.
So
another one.
Yeah, and he's not. They don't block. So go ahead, give us another close combat roll.
Oh, that's not so good.
Okay, so why don't you roll? First off, let's. Your damage would be another point of damage on him. I think he drops to the ground unconscious. And why don't you give us a panic roll, please?
And I think I have to. Where do I have to roll?
It's above where the stress is.
Yeah. No, I wrote twice. But
twice,
yeah.
That's okay. Same result. Okay, your stress level and the level of all friendly NPCs in short range increases by 1. So your stress level, it's already done that for you. I think I think it did it automatically twice. So reduce it. Yeah. And then Dr.
I bumped mine up by 1. Yeah.
Did you? Okay, yeah. So what's the reaction of? Did he just overreact with that? And he is swearing at this guy as he's on the ground? Maybe that's thrown Dr. Gibbs off a little.
Well, I think Dr. Gibbs, he did the whole shoot in the sky because he thought they could have been kids in there. He didn't know. And then all of a sudden, crack, he heard what the thing is like, oh, was it a kid? Oh, oh.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think maybe Delroy is actually a little bit startled because he did not want to kill him. Maybe he got really close to that. So it was a little bit more dangerous than he's supposed to be.
okay.
Yeah.
So you two you hear a moan from this guy on the ground, but he seems to be well and truly out of the fight. If you two look at one another, you can see maybe each are a little on edge from this, but Delroy, it looks like all the supplies are still here.
Yeah, that's good.
This town isn't the most law-abiding, is it?
Depends on which corporation you ask.
Indeed.
I would just maybe I would ask the guy on the ground. I will not hit you again if you just say, who are you working for?
Some guy hired us. Ken got us to come. We didn't take nothing yet. It's all there. Just let me go.
Okay, go and never come back.
He gets up, kind of glares at you. Why don't you give us a command check at +1, please?
Come on, this is just... Yeah, this is almost to be expected now. So yeah.
He glares at you, and you have a look in your eye that just absolutely... Whatever, like, tough guy face he was planning on having towards you, it breaks when he sees the look in your eye. He turns and he runs off into the night. Why don't you give us your panic check?
No, it's better.
Okay.
I had my shotgun raised maybe again, so...
Oh, yeah, maybe is that when you realize it? That, like, you would have fucking shotgunned this guy at point-blank range?
Yeah, so, yeah. It's maybe a little bit too much here.
Okay. Then, Doctor, you maybe see out of the corner of your eye that Delroy had his gun on this guy. So, you're worried about the kids. Like, this could have been I'm not sure how you feel about whether that would have been murder or not, but...
Well, the man was defending his things, but not tragedy didn't happen. No need to dwell on it. He's more interested in what they were trying to take. He starts poking through this drop stuff.
Yeah, it looks like it's all of Delroy's supplies, including one of the buffalo coats that he had intended for you. If you want to place that on him, Delroy.
Yeah.
That probably, like, taking care of, inexperienced riders kind of stuff, I imagine that's a relaxing thing for you.
Yeah.
Reduce your stress level by 1, and Doctor, you feel warm almost immediately as this not down, but like the wool-filled buffalo coat gets on you. You can also reduce your stress level by 1. Oh, like, this is much more comfortable now.
So, Doctor, I think we're into something here, and this is not common even for here. I mean, there are a lot of cutthroats, okay, but this was... Normally you fight one guy or two guys, but this was like they had a plan, and that doesn't happen.
Yes, my experience with ruffians is usually mob-like, but no plans. We should probably check on Blackjack and Mr. Fisher.
I guess we should, yeah.
Okay.
You think they'll come back? We blooded them up pretty good. Well, you did.
Those will not come back.
You're fairly confident that last guy, like, he's probably leaving town tonight.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Gibbs will just reload his 1 round in the 2-round chamber, and then carefully put it back in his coat so he doesn't accidentally set it off.
Okay, and then pull the buffalo coat around you. This is getting much more comfortable now. Blackjack, what's going on with you after seeing what Mr. Fisher's capable of?
I'm probably concerned about the doctor and Delroy, seeing that this was a more coordinated attack. So I'm actually going to go run over to where they would be, probably with my pistol out.
Okay.
Thinking there could be trouble.
So maybe it's a matter of as you arrive there, Delroy, you finish cleaning up whatever they've done, and maybe I'm not sure if you guys are planning on just heading straight over, but you see Blackjack come running in, that big revolver of his in his hand.
What's going on here?
We had two intruders, but they couldn't steal anything. We managed to get rid of them.
This was a coordinated effort.
It was.
How did Mr. Fisher fare?
Well, there's a couple of bodies in the hotel to deal with.
So one of the neat things about Alien is if you want to kill a downed opponent in particular, if you killed a helpless thing, you actually have to fail an empathy roll. So you have to make an empathy check and fail it in order to intentionally murder someone. You're fairly certain Mr. Fisher did that.
Right. He's purposely ended them.
That's why he's got the -2. No good.
Well, yes. Mr. Fisher knows how to operate his weapon. Well, this is obviously a much more dangerous job than I was expecting.
I thought the dangers were in the land and not in the people, but
yes. Apparently, it's a bit of both.
So
so
what is the plan?
Yeah, but I would just ask Jack then again. So, do we still don't ask any questions?
Well, I mean, what's your questions? You mean of Conrad?
I would just rather not be reaching a mine where then it turns out there's a gang of 20 people laying ambush on us or something like that.
Agreed. Maybe we better go speak with Mr. Fisher.
Okay.
It's all very concerning. Yeah, maybe we should clarify.
I think so.
So why don't we take our mid-session break with you guys heading back to the Myrtle Hotel, where you'll be having a conversation with Mr. Fisher. I'm sure that'll go swimmingly. So,
Oh, yes.
for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Oh.
So it's almost sunrise over here.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
What time was it? What time is it for you when we started?
3 o'clock at night, and now it's 5.
Oh my goodness.
It's about 8 p.m. where I'm at, and the sun is almost setting.
Yeah. It's 9 here and it's dusk for sure. Yeah.
So I know I looked it up because I couldn't believe sunrise is in at 5 minutes past 5 or something. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to spring/summer. Oh, this game is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it works really well with the stress. It makes things interesting.
The mechanics, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to give the doctor a pretty interesting personality.
Yeah, it really, like I said, like I think the game mechanics in these, in all these games to a degree, do a great job of capturing the mood of the experience of like what these kinds of media are like. And in particular, the Alien one, I fucking love the trust mechanic, though. The risk reward of like letting your character get a little more agitated. You get the extra dice, but you always run the risk of panic. But it's not like, oh, now I lose control of my character panic. the fact I forgot about the nervous twitch one of making everybody else more stressed out. It's great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Although you could always do your analyze, doctor, to try and reduce everyone's stress level by 1 with your talent.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the mood as you guys reach the Myrtle Hotel? You head back upstairs and knock on Mr. Fisher's door.
I think it's a bit somber for Dr. Gibbs. Well, he's got his nice coat now, so he's nice and warm, but this is a lot more excitement than he's used to.
Mm-hmm. Del Rey or Blackjack?
Annoyance, probably, for me. I mean, I expect trouble, but this is a little much for this job.
Yeah, and I mean, I expected the dangers to be somewhere else, and that is, I mean, those dangers are still to come. So this is maybe we are stretching our luck.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it who knocks on the door?
Oh, I mean, I probably knock fairly hard on the door.
Okay. You hear from within Mr. Fisher's voice, "Come!"
And I'll open the door.
And you open the door to find him pointing that shiny pistol at you.
It's
And
just
he
us,
says,
Mr. Fisher.
Mr. Harris, and Dr. Gibbs and Mr. Tate.
Right. Yes.
Come in.
Thank you.
What's, did I miss agreement to have a conclave this evening?
Yes. The boys have some questions. It's not
forgive
normally
me.
my policy to ask, but
Perhaps I'm mistaken. Mr. Tate, Dr. Gibbs, are we paying you to ask questions?
Dr. Gibbs kind of looks around nervously and kind of straightens his back a little bit and says, wasn't under the impression I was being paid to be accosted by ruffians, but that has happened.
Well, you seem in one piece. Mr. Harris here is paid to keep you safe. Mr. Harris, I trust that you've kept him safe.
he's safe for now.
Well, there you are.
I
Everyone's
think it's-
doing what they're paid for, except for questions being asked. Mr. Tate, you've been dragged along with this. I have not had the pleasure of your acquaintance before. What are your questions?
I don't say anything because I think now it's
Yeah. So as he kind of stammers and looks at the others, he's
no,
Mr. Fisher.
this is,
You see, he has it right. He's paid to not ask questions.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. You see why I don't ask questions.
Yeah. You see, do as Mr. Harris does. Don't ask questions. You will be provided the information you need in due course. Dr. Gibbs, you are here to answer questions, not ask them. And Mr. Harris, you were hired to ensure that he is around to answer those questions. And Mr. Tate, I have it on good authority from Mr. Harris that you can get us safely to where we need to go. Do I have that wrong?
I think he still doesn't say anything.
You see? Stoic silence, confidence in the ability to get a job done. That I trust. Then, Mr. Harris, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to answer these pressing questions.
Of course, sir.
If this has conclave can be adjourned, it has been a exhilarating evening here, and I would welcome a good night's rest, or as best as can be had here. Mr. Tate, am I correct in thinking that this sort of organized accosting, this is not typical for Bridgeport?
No, not at all. Normally, I would say no.
And the fact that the three of you came after Mr. Harris went to collect you, am I correct in surmising you ran into trouble as well?
Yes.
That tells me that they know that you have been engaged for our services.
Yeah.
Would I be correct in thinking as well that it may be prudent for us to leave at a time unexpected by our observers?
Yes. As early as possible, I suppose.
I'll trust you to tell us when we should be going and how we dressed. He looks at Dr. Gibbs. You didn't have that coat before, did you?
Have not. Mr. Tate here was gracious enough to lend it to me.
Mr. Tate, I trust you have one for me as well.
Yes.
Well, good. Let us brave the elements tomorrow, early, as you say, Mr. Tate. Rise me an hour before, and I will be certain to be ready to depart. You can see he's got a bunch of correspondence spread out across a desk. He seems to actually be doing work right now. Mm-hmm. Then, if that is all, gentlemen. Mr. Harris, I leave our security for the evening in your capable hands. Take whatever steps you feel are necessary.
Mr. Gibbs isn't close enough to get an eye peek at the stuff on the desk, is he?
Give us an observation check, please.
He would be definitely interested in that. Scientific inquiries and all.
Yeah, you can see it looks like it is, from the way where the words are placed, it appears to be a journal or a report of some kind as opposed to correspondence. It's all part of a sheaf of something, a scribbler or a notepad that's been placed in a leather folio, and it's just not the way that letters are sent out. So it could be a report, could be it could be, I don't know, a journal. Who knows?
Well, I would like to update the particular agenda for Dr. Gibbs is to get a peek at that journal if he gets a chance to.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, you got it.
There you go.
Then, as you guys leave, you close the door behind you. You can, Mr. Fisher goes back to his work, leaving the three of you guys standing on the second floor of the Myrtle Hotel. So, what happens next?
You gentlemen better get some rest.
Indeed. That was significantly unpleasant.
Yes, and I think tomorrow there may be more excitement.
I wouldn't I wouldn't question our employer boss, but someone who goes to work after shooting 2 guys is a little bit suspicious.
Were the bodies
Yeah.
still in there?
I think you would know they've been taken off by the local the sheriff. Yeah, like Jack, like it's one of the ways where the game tells you a lot about the world as well. Like this guy there were killing shots between the eyes of both those guys that were down. So this is a guy who was a good enough shot to take him
this is
down.
not his first.
Absolutely
encounter.
not. This guy is Mr. Fisher is a full-on killer.
Right.
Like you're a badass guy and you've seen some things, but it takes a special kind of ice in your veins to walk over someone and shoot them as they're dying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're absolutely right about that, Delroy. I mean, look at that expression on his face. My God.
I don't know what to tell you, Delroy. He's got the money. If you don't have the stomach for such work, I suggest you fulfill this contract and then maybe move on like your friend chose.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're getting an idea of why your friend didn't want to take another job with us.
I'm bound by my word at this point, I'd say.
Right.
So I think, Blackjack, I think you've acted consistent with your agenda in this one. So, because you've been keeping right? So
yeah,
that'll be a story point for you. And Delroy, I think being stumm during the meeting there, I think that also gets you a story point as well. And I think because we're feeling generous here, why doesn't Dr. Gibbs take one as well? Because John's given us an opportunity to toast Mo once again. So cheers. To Mo. So, Blackjack, any plans for the security in the hotel this evening?
That's a good question. I mean, now it's a little different. I think that he did have the room sort of picked so that he's got a bit of the Overwatch room. I think he's gonna sleep with his door open and his pistol on his, chest kind of thing.
Okay.
Ready to jump up if he hears anything.
Okay. And then, Delroy, what are you planning on doing to prep or with your... I mean, it sounds like you sleep in the livery anyway, so you've got a place to sleep there. Are you just going to kind of sleep with one eye open?
No, I'm just more... Right now, like we have this weather sign that it will be even colder than I expected it to be. I don't know. Maybe we should carry more oil with us. I don't know what's there. So maybe I just look to organize another spare to put on the coach.
Okay.
Because that will come in handy. I'm totally sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, what? Why don't we do this? Why don't you put your... I'm trying to remember what they should start at. Table to the right. Why don't you put your supplies at 6 for food, water, and power?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do it a group supplies rather than individually.
Okay.
Okay.
So everything at
Then what we
6.
do is you roll for water once a day, you roll, and after every strenuous activity like combat or a mobility roll, you roll for food once a day, and we roll for power situationally. So like if you're camping out for one night, we'll roll that then too. If you roll for every alien that's rolled, it decreases the supply dice by 1.
Yeah, and you roll only stress die or one stress die.
Yes, only stress die. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Forbidden Lands in the.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we only played. I only ran 2 sessions of Forbidden Lands, but that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the same with Forbidden Lands, where you just roll, and when this 1 comes up, then the supply goes down by 1.
Yeah. Dr. Gibbs, what are you doing with your evening?
He's had too much excitement. He's gonna probably take a short drink and then just go to his room and sleep.
Okay.
Maybe after pushing something in front of the door so nobody can barge in.
Good call. Then everybody can clear their stress meter or stress levels. And what time does Delroy Tate come to collect everyone for leaving?
I think before dawn, like an hour before dawn, so that we could really leave with the daylight and not like we awake with daylight and then leave after. Just be gone by then.
For fun, you're not going to get, because no one has any stress right now anyway. Why don't you give us a mobility roll, Delroy?
Yeah, mobility.
Yeah, mobility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Nice. So you're able to get up the stairs without waking Blackjack up.
Huh.
So how do you, do you knock on the door? Is he maybe asleep or not paying attention? Or because he's got his gun, sitting on his chest or something, didn't he?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe I knock Blackjack.
Oh, he probably draws his gun just out of instinct.
Yeah. How did he sneak up here? You should have heard him.
You're a quiet man.
Comes with the trait.
Well, glad you're sneaking around for us.
So as the morning goes on, let me see what I've got here. Oh, guys, here's what you're riding out into. And you're taking your stage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is anyone riding shotgun? Is anyone riding within? Is anyone taking their own horse? Mr. Fisher is happily going to ride inside.
Maybe I'll bring an extra horse. I'll ride an extra horse just in case we need it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think ahead you've got one. Whatever.
It's piloting on this sheet, but I think you've got one point in riding, right?
Piloting, it's called here.
Yeah. It'd be under agility.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. So you'd be riding alongside with that. Delroy, you're riding the front. Dr. Gibbs, are you in the wagon?
He's not fond of Mr. Fisher after last night, so I think he's going to give him his space and ride shotgun with Mr. Tate up front.
Okay. So then what I'd like is for everyone to give us a stamina check, please, with +2. Now, don't put the plus sign in, just 2 extra dice. It is cold today. Ooh, Blackjack. You want to push that? You could spend a story point and just buy an automatic success or hit.
No, I'll push it. He
Hell yeah.
wants to be tough in the saddle here.
It's a nice coat. Thank you, Mr. Tate.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, what the
Oh.
heck?
Oop, did you hit push?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a 6 in there.
Oh, whoops, because I clicked on the wrong person.
Oh.
That's why. Hold on. There we go.
There we go.
Oh,
Nice.
still no successes.
All right. So what that means is, Blackjack, you're going to take 1 point of damage, and you're going to take 1 stress level from it. Riding cold. What's no? Hold on. You pushed it. What you could do in the alternative is you could still spend a story point
Oh.
by 1 automatic success.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I think he's getting cold, but he's taking swigs from his flask to
Yeah.
the old myth to stay warm.
Now, Delroy, do you wish to do anything to try and throw off pursuers by any means, or are there any steps you're taking to try and ensure that you're getting here before any inclement weather settles in? The thought of those strange lights from last night probably are fresh in your mind.
I'm totally sure that we will go for a faster track and not. If people are behind us, they will die when the weather gets worse. So,
Awesome.
And we don't want to be the people who die. I mean, that's.
Why don't you give us a riding or piloting check, please, at plus, I think +2, because you've got good, your horses are well trained and well suited for this kind of condition.
Yeah,
No problem.
I made it.
Yep, no problem. All right, so you're making really good time riding your way along here. And Jack, you are keeping yourself nice and toasty thanks to getting nicely toasted.
Yeah.
Dr. Gibbs, what's going through your mind?
One, the coat is incredibly warm, and he's enjoying being out in the crisp weather and watching the phenomena of his breath just visible in the air. But he's really thinking about when Mr. Conrad's needs going to go take a bathroom break so he can get in there and take a peek at that journal.
So I think you guys take, it may be like, after 3 hours or so of travel, when Delroy's going to take a chance to take a break to, rest the horses, water the horses, everyone can stretch their legs and whatnot. And that's when Mr. Fisher steps out of the carriage as well and just like, wonderful country. Is there any sign of any pursuit?
Haven't spotted
Not so
anything
far.
yet.
Good. Then 2 more days. It's been a while since I've made camp around a fire, but it's one of those things that now is a novelty, something to enjoy. Dr. Gibbs, I know
Yes,
you're
Mr.
enjoying things out here. Might I ask you to join me for the remainder of the trip this morning? There's matters I wish to discuss with you, particularly relating to your engagement.
Yes, despite the coat, it is rather chill out here. Look at Mr. Harris, Mr. Tate. Thanks for getting us here so far, and he'll head in there.
Okay, so if you head in, Mr. Fisher is going to go and relieve himself, which means you do have an opportunity if you wish to try and sneak a peek.
Absolutely.
So this would be I think it's mobility, but let me just double check here. Yep. Give us a mobility check, please.
Okay. This wouldn't be considered a strange artifact, would it? Hey.
Success. So
he's gonna try to make sure he memorizes how things look and not move things around too much as he's digging in there, because,
So what you are seeing is a lot of really unusual. You're really not quite sure what to make of them because they are. There is some writing in here too. It looks like it's he's keeping track of the expedition or the journey out here. But the thing that really catches your eye are. It's a shaded sketch earlier on in the journal that looked like this. And there's a reference to the mine and to... There are drawings, and I think that we could likely all close our eyes and picture the Giger-esque corridors that are found deep within this mine. And it's unlike anything. Well, hold on. Let's have you give us a... I think in this game it is tech. Comtech is sort of the... There's not really like a lore, thing. Why don't you give us a Comtech check here? Or absolutely. Observation, actually, because observation is the thing that lets you... Actually, let's use that because that'll be your analyze.
Yes.
Right? Then you can ask those questions.
Go ahead and observation. Click cow.
Do you want to push that?
I absolutely do want to push that because I want more successes. There we go.
There you go.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
5 successes.
All right. So
it's 4. I think it copies the first one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it still rolls the same number of dice, just that it maintains the success from before. Although there are sheets we use, Wrath and Glory doesn't carry... Oh, no, it does? Doesn't. I don't think it does. Wrath and Glory sheet doesn't carry it forward. This one does.
Okay, yeah.
So, to your questions, you have the list that's underneath your talent there?
Yeah, he'll take a look at it, and this first question is that human?
That does not look like anything. It looks organic more than
possibly
anything.
Insectoid.
Your mind goes to Conrad Fisher Mr. Fisher referenced the good book last night, and your mind goes, I think, to the tale of Jonah. Because it almost seems as if in the belly of some great Leviathan.
And I'm just looking at a sketch, right?
Just a sketch.
Is there any kind of
3 more questions.
like noticeable architectural features inside the organic stuff that might clue it into how old it is?
There, from the way that, from references in the book that suggest where in the mine it is located, this would be very old.
Cross-reference geostratical ages and
yeah,
okay.
And exactly. And if it is in the mountains in California are some of the oldest rock, right? Like they're not as old as the Appalachian Mountains, which are some of the oldest rock on the planet, but the rock here, this is not sedimentary rock where it's been layered on top. This is still stuff has been thrust up from tectonic activity. And as such, like, who knows how old this could be if it is buried in the earth here?
Interesting.
2 more questions before he comes back.
Looks at the sketch again and then the description in the journal, and he's like, as strange as it is, it has to be fossilized or rock, but did they find anything like more organic? Like, is it dead or alive?
It seems definitely dead from the references they've made there. The temperature, they say, is warmer than the mines themselves, but the rock, the surface itself still seems, it seems to be taking in the heat of the environs rather than giving off heat itself, if that makes sense. The way a wall would, like, walls don't give off heat, but if you burn a fire within, then the walls will grow warm. One more.
He's gonna ponder and then look at the picture of the vessels again, the sketch, and try to wonder what their purpose is. Do they hold something?
If you flip through the journals a little bit, what you can see is there is a reference to powder or spores that were visible in the light.
And he'll.
You can hear Mr. Fisher is like, Mr. Tate, I'm ready to go whenever you are. And you put the journal back in.
Lean back and act casual.
Blackjack, if you'd like to give us observation check to see there's a chance you might catch the, hand in the cookie jar, as it were.
Yeah.
Don't you say nothing. Shit.
So you've definitely seen Dr. Gibbs stuffing it back in. He's gotten a good look at the journal. If you'd like, you can ask one question.
Right.
You could even ask as simple as, what's happened here?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the one that makes the most sense.
Dr. Gibbs, would you like to tell?
Oh, maybe he kind of remembers back last night where I kind of glanced at the desk and he caught a look of interest in my eyes, and then basically I'm fishing for information, trying to figure out what he's looking for, because it feels like there's a scientific mystery here that I want to solve.
I think someone gets a story point for that. So maybe would Dr. Gibbs feel playful enough to kind of give Blackjack a wink?
Do I see him looking?
I think, well, you tell me, Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I make it clear that I've seen what he's done.
Okay.
Dr. Gibbs will look, he'll go,
Ooh, what does Blackjack do?
I think he shakes his head and is planning on having a little conversation with the doctor in private later.
Okay.
Good man.
And then deciding if he needs to have a conversation with his boss after that.
Okay. Mr. Tate, would you kindly give us a survival check?
Survival?
Yeah.
With any bonus or without?
I think +1. You're pretty familiar with these hills.
Yeah,
nice.
so it's
Fantastic.
2 successes.
Yeah, no problem. So you're gonna be able to reach the precise place you were thinking of as a way stopover.
Yeah.
It's probably a little like a cabin, that people use as kind of a shelter from storms when they come on. So you get going. Blackjack, you start riding alongside the coach again, and Dr. Gibbs, you are in the coach with Mr. Fisher. And Mr. Fisher says, I apologize for depriving you of the vistas while you are traveling here, but there is work to be discussed here.
Indeed. I feel I must apologize too. I clumsily knocked over your journal when I was getting in. I hope everything's back where it belongs.
Oh, and he pulls it out. And why don't you give us a manipulation check? I'm curious if he's going to trust you or not. Yeah. That's, he completely buys it. So what, he says, oh, no harm. It's precisely what I wish to discuss with you. Now, Dr. Gibbs, the reason why we engaged you was you recall writing there are articles that have been brought to my attention that you wrote that offered some unusual explanations for the origin of life on our planet.
Oh, indeed, fascinating topic. Lots of phenomena that speak towards it.
And you speak of heavenly objects in an almost, I was going to say Wellesian, but I don't think H.G. Wells was publishing by 1840. Mm-hmm. No, so we have found here something that we think it may date back to, it may quite literally be antediluvian, before the great wrath of God came and scoured the earth.
Oh, the flood. I see.
We may have found evidence of something that hid from God's wrath. And he shows you the sketches that you had seen of this. These,
far below the earth?
Indeed, Doctor. This was while a prospecting team was following up on a potential in the mountains 2 days from here. 2.5. They found a cave that went deeper than they suspected, and while it was marked by the symbols of some of the locals warding off those from going on, and in theory warding the spirits within, what they found in was a chamber of horrors and wonders. We have since found that someone grew quite ill, violently so, when exposed to some of the vessels that were found, and you sort of page over to where that thing was. We do not know how far it extends, but what could be found down there and what could be learned from them would make Wayland Mining's other assets seem pennies in comparison.
Indeed, this is magnitudes of importance. Are you familiar with any of the Gnostic texts regarding the antediluvian time
Indeed.
period? Specifically the Enochian?
Indeed. You are precisely the man we hoped we had engaged.
He'll tap the page showing the vessels, and far be it from me to, question God's wrath destroying what lay on the earth, but if these may not be beneficial, if they're remnants of Nephilim influence.
Ah, you think even older than the flood?
And the times leading up, which perhaps led to his decision to wipe the planet. Such evil was abounding.
Then it is propitious that the Almighty brought this to our attention once again. What is cast off by the damned may be put to better purpose by the redeemed. And it's at that point, there's a gleam you see in his eye that is just like full-on religious mania.
And Dr. Gibbs, he says, indeed, perhaps we have evolved far enough in morality and righteousness as to claim that knowledge with no harm this time.
Let us hope. Perhaps these are tools that God intended only for his chosen. Study the journal, Doctor. I will not disturb you. And he just opens the window once again and just stares outside, and again you can see that gleam of just you get a much better intent that this guy is not maybe it's not a matter of him being remorseless sociopath or whatnot. He's just an absolute fanatic blinded by. How does that make Dr. Gibbs feel being trapped with him in this wagon in the middle of the California wilderness?
conflicting. One, he is incredibly glad he peeked at those things to bluff his way through this entire conversation with the pieces that he does know, and incredibly nervous because he better have answers for this man, otherwise it's not going to end well.
Oh, speaking of which, Mr. Tate, would you mind giving us a roll for the water supplies? When you guys took your break, we would roll for that.
Yeah, and how do I do that? Click on water?
I think it's click on water, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I try. Dice to add or subtract for water?
None.
Okay. Oh, that's maybe not good.
Thirsty horses. You were pushing the horses pretty hard, so it makes sense that they would go down. So your water should be down to 4 now.
That is something. Maybe I would like to offer a story point to get one more or something like that.
Oh yeah. Why don't you? Yeah, you know what? You'll at the there's a trough that you'll find, or like a what do you call it? A rain barrel at the cabin. You'll be able to fill one up. So you'll be down by 1 then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I'll take a story point off for that. Then. When you guys arrive at the cabin, it appears as if no one has been in the cabin for, or at least no one is in the cabin at present. What's the expression on Dr. Gibbs's face when he gets out and makes eye contact with Blackjack the first time?
He kind of looks at Blackjack and then looks at the cabin and looks back at him and kind of tilts his head. We need to talk.
And Mr. Fisher steps out of the wagon and says, our castle for the evening. Good. And he steps out and walks his way in, leaving the rest of the town, taking care of the horses and whatnot to you guys.
Yeah, right. Deal with everything.
Yeah. Delroy, this is where you would spy the rain barrel. You're like, okay, thank God we can, refill some stuff tonight. Dr. Gibbs, how are you, or where are you planning on having the quick chat with, let me see if, I don't think I've got...
Tate's going that way and Fisher went that way. Right here is fine.
Right, I guess, where we were is actually the correct spot.
Okay. So you're at the wagon, maybe?
And he'll hold up the journal so Blackjack can see it, because apparently Fisher has given it to me to read.
Yeah.
So, well, I kind of know why we're here now, but I don't know why we were attacked. But I have an inkling. Seems Mr. Fisher, or his company, has discovered something very ancient and potentially very valuable, and probably even more dangerous in the mines. Way down in the mines. Are you a religious man, Mr. Harris?
I've dabbled.
Well, I certainly am now.
You think they found God down there?
No, God doesn't. No. But we found some antediluvian, pre-flood structures below, and don't think they should be digging down that deep. Might do some evil, or bring evil back that should not be here. And they'll flip the journal open and point at the vessels.
Are you guys taking care that Delroy doesn't overhear this, or is there a chance that he might overhear this?
I don't care about Delroy. I'm just making sure Fisher ain't coming back out.
So maybe they're just not, like, Delroy, you're used to being the hired hand, right? So you may easily hear everything that he's talking about.
I think that Delroy, he will get even more superstitious.
Mr. Gibbs will say, he's got a fanatic look in his eyes when he's not watching himself. Let's not do anything stupid and make him want to kill us.
Yeah.
Blackjack, what do you make of all this?
It's confusing to me. I don't know really what he's talking about. The drawings look like gibberish to me, like,
Yeah.
a basket
Expected
of
all of that.
Yeah, a basket of blueberries. I don't know what you're showing me.
Yeah, that's that. Delroy's impression would also be blueberries. What?
Yeah, like, well, I don't. Great. As long as you know what it is.
Well, I have an inkling of what it might be, and that terrifies me.
What scares a man like you?
Many things scare me. You know, threat of violence, running out of bourbon, dying in the cold, drowning. But this terrifies me.
All right, sir.
In fact, why don't you raise your stress level by 1, please?
Yes. They're totally fair. I get it. Yes.
Yeah, like it's one of the mechanics. There's sometimes where you get it from doing things or whatnot. And sometimes it's just like you've seen so and so, so this raises your stress level.
I don't know everything, but I know enough to be scared. Mm-hmm. The worst is, he said one of the men who found the area inhaled some of the spores and got deadly ill or very sick. I don't know what happened to him.
Now that
we
would definitely concern both of you.
There? Yeah.
If we are to venture down there, cover your mouth, treat it like bad air in the mines, something. Yeah,
this is an era where, like, influenza will wipe out a town.
Right.
So why don't Blackjack and Delroy each raise your stress level by 1 as well?
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to keep talking, Doctor? He looks at him. That's how the stress plays out to him.
Almost in character. So I guess they were talking about this biblical stuff before the flood, and also I would gain another stress just because.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So he knows just enough to be frightened.
Well, yeah, this is, what you're talking about, hidden things, plagues, like this is Old Testament shit that you're talking about that every one of your characters would be well familiar with.
Yeah.
So. Shoot. Why do you got to mess with pre-Diluvian? So don't do that. Leave it alone. Anyway, there better be some gold involved here, because Mr. Gibbs is going to drink himself into a stupor.
Okay. So Mr. Gibbs is heading... Are you heading back inside then while the others see to the horses?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've got no pouting skill, so I don't think you've got any...
No.
At best, you're kind of, I think I've told you guys the story of me referring to a horse garage before, so that's about your level of equine understanding.
Yep.
Blackjack, Delroy, that means that you have an opportunity to be with one another as you're getting things together. And while Blackjack, maybe Delroy wasn't... you're pretty observant, and you've got that extra thing, too. I think you knew that he was around, and one look, one bit of eye contact between the two of you, you know that Delroy heard everything that Dr. Gibbs said.
Right. And I can probably see that he's getting, a little stressed. I'm feeling stressed.
Yeah, what do you think? And Delroy, do you think it's in some small ways of maybe like how you're taking the saddles off, or how you're, maybe a little more curt with the horses than you would have been?
Yeah, I guess. He would be, and I think even not maybe he would do his job normally, but he would be looking around all the time.
Yeah,
right.
Looking to the sky, like what's coming. And
now I understand why Mr. Fisher said, "Don't ask questions you don't need to know."
Yeah, I guess that's probably kind of a lot of the way that, again, Jack would put it, right, to Delroy, is like, see what happens when you bring a question asker along on these things.
But yeah, okay. There's one is this area of superstition, but the other one is, if you understood correctly, and I think Delroy does not just only... Wasn't they saying that the mine was poisonous also? Come on. That is no. They said he got sick or whatever, so for Delroy that is poison. That is poison. something.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, a lead poisoning was something which was pretty common in the gold rush also.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there would also be one of the things that everyone would know. You work with arsenic when you're doing gold mining, and there's also gases from shaft mining like that.
Yeah, the bad air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So, and
I think I
that
look
is-
at Delroy and I'm like, don't go anywhere you shouldn't. Don't touch anything you shouldn't.
I would not go in the mine. I'm just here to get you there. You
Might
see?
be a good idea.
So, Dr. Gibbs, while you guys are enjoying one another's company in the fresh air, you go inside and Mr. Fisher has got the fire started and he's right back to the same, Dr. Gibbs, come help me. We'll get things set up and we might as well get dinner started.
Indeed.
Good
He rolls up
repast
his
after a
sleeve and
fine
says-
day's travel, I find is good. It's almost, I imagine it's a little unsettling with just how chipper that he seems to be.
Well, mental psychosis and normality, they can mask pretty well. So, as far as the psychology is advanced in these days.
Oh, I forgot you got with your observation thing, you also get a chance to reduce your, what do you call it? You reduce your stress level by 1. So if you had
Yes.
1 before you looked at the journal, you can reduce it by 1, but I'm not sure you did actually.
No.
Okay, unfortunately. So then, anything you guys wish to do before, once the horses are secured?
All my answers are pretty much taken care of, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's this idea that we need something to eat. I mean, maybe someone could hunt a rabbit or something. I don't know.
You got supplies.
Yeah, I know,
yeah.
I know. But now I'm seeing us camping in this mine thing. I don't know.
Why don't we do this? First, you should have 5 water. Now, why don't you give us a water check for the end of the evening?
Let's see how I roll that. Yeah. So water again, not food. Okay.
Yeah, for water for first.
Yeah. Oh, it is just
Down to
not
4. Then would you kindly give us a food roll? That's only once per day.
Ooh.
Well, there's one
Okay,
success.
so that's down to 4. Not a bad idea to start to think about or consider hunting. And then would you give us a power roll? No problem. Plenty. You stocked plenty of firewood and oil.
Yeah.
So, then, Delroy, you maybe mentioned that as a concern for tomorrow. Okay. Then, with... do you guys feel safe here?
Not at all. I was going to say, I set up a chair, right by the door of the cabin, and I'm sitting there, vigilantly sort of guarding the door.
All right.
Well, Gibbs knows there's no reason to be scared, but psychologically, mentally, we got assaulted by people in the town. We're doing something almost supernatural in the mines. We might be cursed.
Oh, God.
He doesn't share his feelings with anybody. He's like, we need to be vigilant.
Does Dr. Gibbs finish reading that book this evening?
Oh, yeah, he can't put it down.
Yeah. This it's been a long time since we've run Call of Cthulhu, and like that's rarely a good answer or a good question to answer in the affirmative. Dr. Gibbs, you're actually...
I am playing the stereotypical scientist in an alien movie.
It's also a hard thing to not resist, I imagine. Like, not knowing would be difficult. Raise your stress level by 1 more, please, because what you find is that it's more than just someone got sick and someone died. It's someone got sick and got somehow had horrible buboes on their face, blackened malformations, and became violently violently mad. Only taken down through a ton of gunfire, and the corpse burned. And 2 people got sick after that with the same illness. Both of them were killed and burned. One other person got sick after that, killed and burned before they took steps to avoid anyone else going down there. The 3 who died afterwards had no exposure to the mine, only to the first guy.
At that point, he snaps the journal closed, puts it down, pushes it a little bit away from him, and just sits there for a minute.
You can see reflected in the light from the fire, Mr. Fisher is perhaps puffing on his pipe and staring at you.
I don't make eye contact.
Blackjack, Delroy, what are you guys doing with your evening?
I mean, do we have, not like hunting, but maybe just having a trap or something like that?
Yeah, give us a survival check, Delroy. Let's see. Maybe you set no modifiers, but to set some snares. Maybe you're going to be able to catch something.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Pretty good.
Nice.
It's pretty fucking good, yeah. So I think maybe it's early in the dawn that because you wouldn't have time to properly strip it and clean it or whatnot. I'm trying to think here what this might be.
You just make a really big meal in the morning.
Like squirrels, maybe?
Squirrels, huh?
It's early winter, so things are fattening up, right? So maybe you set a trap out and just like every trap you set had something in it.
Right.
So
it's like groundhogs, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and then each of those 2. So why don't you raise your food up by, let's say 4? Like that's an incredible roll. So you've got plenty of other stuff set because you guys do not feel safe. However, you're not going to be able to recover stress. I'm just going to see if you get stress back overnight as well, or whether it needs to be somewhere safe. Relieving stress. Here we go.
I think we need to be safe.
But what you guys can do is interact once per session with your signature item.
Well, I'm definitely interacting with the flask.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us quickly what you guys are doing to reduce your stress level with your signature objects.
Well, Gibbs is going to pull out the sheaf of paper. He's got it's been folded up many times over and over. It's like parchment, but it's so shines of age. And he's just reading it because it's like a letter from his wife, which is over in like Oklahoma or somewhere. And she's being used against him for blackmail to make him come to this particular mission or area. And he's just knowing that he's doing this all for her, and that
that's amazing. You guys are a fraud team too. Truly, like what a toxic fucking relationship. That's amazing. All right, so reduce your stress level by 1. What about Delroy and Blackjack? What do we see you guys doing?
Yeah, I think Delroy has the usual tasks to do, and setting up the traps and everything, and checking and using the tools to just adjust everything and cleaning the hooves of the horses, all the things you need to do. And this is just the routine, the calming thing to do.
Okay. Yep. So you reduce your stress levels by 1. And Blackjack.
So you see Blackjack, he's probably like very vigilant the whole time everyone's awake, being on lookout, all those things, cautiously checking the road back and forward, and doing his job well. But sort of as soon as everyone else goes to sleep, he's got the flask out, and he's sort of reminiscing about his previous life. And Maybe even, you see he takes a sip and there's sort of maybe a tear or two that fall from his eyes once he sort of feels secure that they're not gonna catch him.
How wrong did it go before?
Pretty bad, I think. Like, maybe not like, like bad enough that this seems easy, I guess, is sort of why it's comforting to him. Like,
Okay.
I guess that's sort of what brings his nerves down is like, I've already lived through hell. Like, what's this job gonna do to me,
Love it. Okay, yeah. So then you can reduce your stress level by 1. Then, the next morning, what do you guys do, if anything, to prep? Was there anything? You're just getting up and getting going.
I think I'm eager to get the job underway, so I'm up and I'm, making sure everyone's up, basically.
Sure.
Yeah, but I would say, so Blackjack, we will sooner or later need to look for water. If we encounter something on the road and I don't see it, or just keep an eye out.
Yes, okay. I'll keep an eye out.
Blackjack, do you have any points of survival? I can't remember.
Survival.
Let's see here.
1.
Yeah, okay, great. So then let's do this. You guys pack up and get going. First thing I'd like is, Dr. Gibbs, are you riding on the inside with Mr. Fisher, or are you riding on the outside once again? He said his piece to you, so he's fine either way.
I'm good riding inside today.
Okay.
He's got a lot of thoughts going on in his brain. He doesn't want to be distracted by the cold.
Okay. Then it's only Blackjack and Delroy. Would you give us stamina checks at +2 for the cold? No problem.
Wait a minute. So, yeah.
Now, would you like to push that? Oh, you can't because you got to panic.
Yeah.
All right. So
I would use
story point.
Yeah, I would use a story point not to get into trouble here.
Okay.
But there's still the panic.
Still the panic. So go ahead and roll your stress.
Yeah.
So, what does this manifest as? What do we see where you're there's that moment where things might go wrong? Is there like birds that fly off suddenly in one copse of trees? Is there the sound of a rifle shot somewhere far off where a hunter was looking?
Yeah, I mean, or maybe just, some darker clouds and just some kind of thunder in farther away, and so they were talking about the flood and all this thing, and now in his mind we are close to Armageddon.
Yeah. There's a storm front coming that's just lurking in there, ready to just slam down on you. Blackjack, why don't you give us a survival check at +1? Let's see how you do for finding water supplies. The +1 is from Delroy's help.
Oh!
So you do find a good source. So you're going to be able to fill 3 water up, Delroy. But Blackjack, why don't you give us a panic roll?
Yes. That was the one besides best stress level, right?
That's right, yeah. So what was the moment of near panic for you?
I think it's like something like really simple, like, he found the water and maybe there was even some like wild blueberries growing by there. And it's just like, he's looking at them and he's just like, now he's like feeling frightened of blueberries. It's like, like, what has this guy done to me? And then he's like kind of swearing at that doctor, like, this is nonsense. They're fine. And he'll even like pick one and eat it and be like, yeah, it's just a blueberry. Like, the hell, man.
Okay. Yeah, so you do manage to store up some more water for the day. Why don't, Doctor, since you're riding inside, why don't you give us a Route 66 roll, please?
65.
Fantastic.
Really high up there.
All right. Surely nothing ill will come from... Oh, my God. Oh, no.
It's the fabled Fang dragon.
Yeah.
But it's the queen.
Exactly. All right. So, let's see here. Okay. 5. Oh, you know what? Let me justify another purchase. There we go. Because Building Better Worlds has some fun random tables in it, too.
This is great. Mechanically, we're just traveling. We got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. It's like, man, this is good. This is fun.
It's like it's like with the Lord of the Rings games, the One Ring, where you have all this travel stuff, and basically another adventure in itself.
Yeah, it's very cool. They have all these mechanics. I'm not having to import anything from other Year Zero games. There's great stuff in here. I feel like that, like all these games, they do just a really, really cool job of feeding story. You know, feeding neat things and unanticipated things that you got to like. Okay, well, what does this make sense? You know, yeah, it's great stuff.
I guess they have some other idea of designing a game, like not so much number crunching like the highly technical D&D type games where you have all these levels and so on, and this is just more focused on smaller details, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, so then what you find, Blackjack, you for sure. Delroy, what is your observation and wits?
5.
5, okay. So, Blackjack, you're the one who notices this, that there seems to be at one point as you're riding late, about mid-afternoon, that there seems to be a bear that is just watching you from a prominent position higher up on the mountain. And at first you're like, all right, it's weird. Like it's far enough away. Like there's no obvious path of approach that it has. So for it to get down and get close to you, like you guys would be gone before it was gone. And it's also early winter, so it should be hibernating. But this thing seems to be just watching.
That is very creepy. I would actually point it out to Delroy.
Okay. You look up Delroy with
up
your
there
survival.
on the ridge.
The hell's this thing up for? But that there are it's like raccoons being active during the day, right? Like there's things that just fuck up the natural cycle, and a bear being out and active at this time is just not natural.
Yeah. So, and unnatural or something has disturbed it in its sleep, and that means it will be rather grumpy and aggressive.
You know that it is far enough away that it's not going to get to you. So, like, there isn't a physical peril, and bears aren't really stalkers per se. I'm sure that we're going to get comments now. People correct me, actually, but
yeah, bears have been known to stalk prey for
exactly.
100 miles. Yeah.
Haven't you ever heard of the cocaine bear? Come on, it goes.
Yeah.
Be the opioid bear in this setting.
Yeah, xenomorph bear. It's the best.
Oh no.
Guys, I think I found my favorite bear combo more so than the owl bear.
Yeah.
What do you think, Delroy? What do you make of that?
I mean, it's just another bad omen. So maybe, I don't know if I mean, he never, I guess he can't even read. So, but I mean, maybe that's something that they were mentioning in the Book of the Apocalypse, that there would be bears not sleeping when they should be sleeping or something like that.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some terrible, line from the Book of Revelation that Delroy would have on his, the tip of his tongue. So from the way you guys have responded to that, I think you can each raise your stress level by 1.
Yeah.
So then you fortunately reach the next cabin otherwise without incident. It sounds like Blackjack and Delroy, am I correct in thinking you guys rode the rest of the way in silence?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So when you reach there, what do... Dr. Gibbs, are you eager to get out of the... Mr. Fisher, incidentally, will fill the time with idle chit-chat. Like, he alternates between talking about this apocalyptic stuff and then just chit-chat. If you have questions about what you're reading, he will give you more information.
Yeah, mostly about the people that got sick, especially that had no access to the mines.
He is quite troubling information indeed. We thought it was a pathogen spread. Ill humors traveling from one to another. Does that seem... I can't remember what... In this world, germ theory seems to predate.
Ill humors are right about there for medicine didn't really advance to like the mid 1800s for like washing hands and bad spirits. So
this guy would have access to cutting edges. I don't remember. I don't know offhand what cutting edge stuff was, but we'll say he is able to put together that the ill humors of this seem to have spread from one to another. Do you have preventative measures in mind?
Aside from, isolating people for a number of days to make sure that ill humors haven't spread, the only thing I can think of is treat it like bad air at mines and, bring fire and fresh air.
There has been another proposal, and he goes forward, and I want you to try and picture what a Victorian-era diving suit might look like. Because that is what is drawn there. Is not like, there's the World War II era frogman thing that looks pretty fucking primitive. This is even more outlandish than that. Might something such as this.
Dr. Gibbs looked at it, he's like, that's fascinating. Do you know who designed it?
The Wayland Mining has a number of talented engineers on staff. This would provide a hermetically sealed environment, safe from the fumes of mines.
Yeah, he looks at it and turns it around and studying. Is it made for immersion in water in case the tunnels get flooded?
It could be used for such as well, though how one might see. This was intended for the ill humors found in a mine. Just the poisonous gas in mines would be, what do they call them? Vapors? Noxious vapors.
Yeah.
Might this permit the exploration of this Nephilim chamber?
I assume there's like a tube coming out the back of it going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And they use bellows and stuff to pump the air.
Exactly, yeah.
He does that. Yeah, as long as it doesn't get ripped or opened up. Have you anyone in mind to test it?
His eyes are fixed on you.
I'm raising my stress level. He'll swallow and go, I assume I'll be able to study this thing thoroughly before I put it on, yes?
And have an opportunity to practice as well.
Wonderful, he says in an
Your voice cracks as you're saying it, dude.
Yeah.
Needless to say, he's eager to get at that thing as soon as we're stopped.
Yeah. So when it seems like everybody is in a foul mood as you step out of the stagecoach this time. Now, Delroy, why don't you give us one water roll for the midday break, because we forgot to do that. at the full water level you have now. Awesome. Fantastic. And then for the evening, let's get the rolls out of the way first. So water and food and power. Nice.
Oh, yeah, okay, but
People are enjoying your rabbit stew.
And power. Yeah. No,
Seems like tonight you guys are keeping a few more lanterns burning.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. I actually, Jack might have lit a couple extra lanterns.
Yeah. So it was Jack, yeah.
Yeah, he lit the extra lanterns, and if you look at me funny, I'll say, security measures.
No, Gibbs is very grateful. He needs the light to see the diagram of the.
So tell us what is going on. Mr. Fisher is going to be as obtuse and as distant as he has been the previous evenings, smoking, talking, writing in his journal. What are the rest of you guys doing this evening?
Dr. Gibbs is not keen on frightening the other two more than necessary, so he's not going to tell them.
Really, he is not.
He seems very distracted at the moment.
Yeah. I guess Delroy is just trying to process what's happening here.
One more day. You should be. Was it 3 days? Yeah, so tomorrow. You should reach the mine.
So let's hope that then everything is.
Who do you think is the first to use of the three of you guys? Who is the first to use the outhouse?
I don't know if
Yeah.
If not, just everyone give us a 1d6 roll, and whoever rolls highest is luckiest.
That could mean different things.
yeah. So
All threes.
Three. So it's between Dr. Gibbs and Blackjack. Why don't you each give us a d6 roll again? 2.
Oh!
Roll 20 favors Blackjack this time. Dr. Gibbs, it's almost like there's a moment when, I don't know, maybe like some realization hits you and finally your bowels loosen. Maybe it was that rabbit stew, actually, that Delroy made. And you finally decide to, before it gets dark, to take your trip to the outhouse, which is set a discreet distance away from the cabin itself. What's going through Dr. Gibbs' his mind as he's making his way to the outhouse?
He is in way over his head and might offer a prayer or two to, get him safely out of this, even though he's a very, very sinful man.
Would you give us an observation check, please, as you're thinking through back to Sunday school, trying to remember some prayers to offer? So you're getting towards the outhouse, and you can see that it's set in such a place where it seems to likely get a lot of like midday sun, which means that the wood that it was used to make this crude structure have blanched quite a bit and have been bleached by the sun. That allows you to see the bloody drag marks coming from within. The door is set just slightly ajar, so you cannot see what's in there. Whatever is latched in there, whatever may have been in there did not close the door the full way, but it is setting just slightly askew. But you can see there are a thin, maybe 2.5, 3 inch across bloody streaks. First, you're going to raise your stress level by 1. And
is it panic time?
You cannot tell. You spotted it before you got in there. But you cannot tell right now whether the drags are coming in from the... or rather into the outhouse or out of it. What do you do?
I find somewhere else to go use the bathroom.
Okay. Yeah, fortunately, you haven't had to make the rolls. You say you really don't need to go now. Because... No.
Are you going to tell anyone else?
Yeah, and also, like, let's think through what you would have to do then. You are then going to walk somewhere into the bushes, go bare ass in winter.
Yeah,
I love it. You're just standing there right now, like,
yeah.
what's going to make this worse? What's going to make this better?
Well, how... He's going to see, is there a stick nearby? He's going to try to pop the door open from a discreet distance.
Absolutely. So you grab a stick from the ground, make your way to the... If you listen to see if there's anything in there too, I will let you make an observation roll, but then you will make an observation roll with 4 stress dice.
How about I spend a story point?
Yes, you could do, but you do need to roll though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, don't shit my pants. Don't shit my pants.
So here's what I'll tell you first. First, there is nothing that is, you can't hear anything in there. But as you're bringing your, and you're absolutely certain of that, you're absolutely certain there's nothing making any sounds or moving within there. Now give us your panic roll.
Rose, nothing. Did it work?
It might have prompted for a modifier.
Yeah, and sometimes those are hidden behind another window. That's what...
It is not. Yep, I clicked it a few times. It's nothing. I'm gonna refresh real quick.
Yeah, you were frozen actually.
Okay, I'm gonna refresh real quick just to.
Okay, nope. There we go. So the first one we'll use a 9.
Yep. My internet's being wonky here.
Okay, we'll wait for you to. The sheet itself is has a lot of moving bits in it. I think it might be quite busy. So what you got was a 9, John.
I see it right before it closed out.
Yeah, drop item. So you're moving your way over, then your hands are shaking so bad, you drop the stick you were going to use to open it, and your stress level is now a 5.
Okay.
I think you also do not need to go to the washroom any longer.
Yeah.
So we'll just wait for you to refresh.
Almost there.
That's okay. No rush. So why don't you tell us while you dropped that, you haven't yet opened the door. I'll adjust your stress level for you here. And what do you do next?
Well, you can go ahead and mark a water as being gone from our supply because I'm going to use it.
Well, it'll just be another roll for the water because it's potential that's not going to be used.
Yeah, but what I don't understand, I mean, you don't say anything to anyone.
Well, I haven't gone inside yet.
No, you have plenty of water. So right now you're standing outside. You're free to move and free to do anything. You've just dropped that thing. You have not yet... Oh, we're coming back in.
Yeah, I had to hit refresh like 7 times.
That's okay. So
I think you literally scared my internet to death.
That's great. Well, that's one strategy to avoid ever having to open the thing. Dr. Gibbs, what are you doing?
What is it? Pride be damned. He's gonna run back in and he's saying that the previous occupant may have been dead in the outhouse. Has anybody else used it?
You say there's a dead man in the outhouse.
Well, there's bloody drag marks.
I'll kind of rush out to the...
Okay.
I'm going to try to stay downwind from them.
So if you get close to Dr. Gibbs, you have a sense of what might have happened with him as well.
Yeah.
So if you make your way to the outhouse, when you see that blood, if you could raise your stress level by 1. Delroy, are you heading out as well?
Yeah, I guess with my shotgun at.
I was gonna say, to be clear, my pistols are drawn.
Yep. And Delroy, raise your stress level by 1. So what you can see is exactly as described. There are bloody marks in there, a dragging kind of thing. And Delroy, you or Blackjack, or the two of you working together with one of you getting a +1 dice, could give us a survival check. You may be able to pick up tracks.
Okay. Yeah, should I roll?
Yeah, you roll. You're
+1.
more the tracker guy.
So 1 extra dice for this. Fantastic.
Okay.
Ooh, and a panic roll too. So first, let me tell you what you see here, and then we'll see what the result is of the panic. So for 1, you can tell something has dragged itself out of there. There's a bloody trail, almost like a gore, gorish birth call that's been dragged out, and dragged along here. You can also see that there are tracks that are in there that help, little claw prints. And if you want to spend that extra hit, I can tell you it is unlike anything you have ever seen.
Oh.
Now, would you like to give us your...
Yeah. I would. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I would literally tremble and I think he will find his religion now and say this is.
It's demon tracks.
Yeah, the beast has reawakened or something like that.
Yeah. So so what you can hear, he's talking about some kind of like the beast of that sloughed out of the ocean and whatever.
Right.
The scorpions have come to torment men.
Blackjack,
for their sins.
You can make a command roll.
Yeah, you've lost it, man.
To try and stop someone's panic.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Command.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
We're all panicking.
Hold on, let me just see if there's anything you can do with those extra, because maybe you can also reduce stress level here too. Okay, here we go. Command, give orders, stop panic. So you are definitely, you're not panicked anymore, Delroy. So that penalty of -2 to your agility, that shaking ends with a single word from Blackjack. If anyone else was panicking, you don't have any persisting 1, Doctor. But what I'll say is you'll get a +1 to your or a -1 to your next panic check. And Blackjack, why don't we reduce your stress level by 1 before you make the roll? Because I think this is a natural position for you, isn't it, to be kind of the one in charge?
Yeah, I think so. And it is calming to him to actually, be in a stressful situation, and reacting and taking command is sort of when he's in the zone.
Then go ahead and give us your panic roll, please.
But he may panic right now because roll 20 is a troll.
No, you're fine.
You held it together. So, what do? Do you tell that Delroy? How do you? Now that you kind of, Blackjack has snapped you out of it, you can share that, or feel free to share the information about it coming out, its markings.
Yeah, it's like something has like, I don't know, like something has drawn itself out of there, and it has like these claw marks. I would say it is maybe dog-sized. Am I correct in this?
It's about right.
Should
So a badger or something fell in the shithole.
maybe the doctor...
Yeah, but there is blood, so maybe it fell in there and then it found someone to bite.
And Delroy is 100% certain there is not a critter that crawls in these mountains that matches these claws.
Oh.
Maybe the doctor should take a look at it if it's strange.
But by the way, where's Mr. Fisher?
Mr. Fisher is standing near the back of you all.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to gain any further stress from it, but he has very much that same expression on his face. This in his illustration as he's just looking at that and waiting to see what happens.
I think the doctor will use the analysis thing to figure it out and potentially lower our stress levels.
Yeah, go ahead. So if you come forward, if you want to, this is definitely something alien. Give us an observation check, please.
Got so many stress dice on me right now. Oh god, I'm gonna panic.
But you got one. And you got a panic as well.
Yeah.
So
can I spend a story point
to keep? Yeah, why not? You know what? That sounds good. Yeah, at this point, this is sort of your deal.
Gotcha.
So let me give you a bit of a devil's bargain with that then. So you can ignore. Oh yeah, and Delroy, you got that awesome ignore all the alien symbols from one dice roll per session. Talent. What I'll let you do is if you spend that story point, you can push your observation if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay. So basically what we'll do is we will ignore. I'll put -1. No, -2 to your roll.
Okay. -2 and okay. more panics.
All right. And nothing to show for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Shit, you could have just spent the story point to gain an automatic success.
Well, I got another one.
Yeah, you want to do that? Okay, so you got 2. So before we panic, why don't you give us, tell us what 2 questions?
Yeah, I definitely want to know if it's alien or like animal kind of thing. Is it this like really like something that doesn't match any known animal tracks ever?
I think that what the framework for what you've been discussing this in. Oh, Jeff, I've lost you in your camera in Roll20.
Yeah, my whole internet crashed for like 2 minutes or something. I don't know.
Hold on,
you guys didn't notice. I'll try and reconnect.
I hit reconnect them. I got you back.
Okay. Good.
Yep, I hit reconnect on my side too. So I mean, there is there is a solar event going on in North America tonight, apparently. Yeah, so we can go outside and see. After this, I'm taking Anna Banana for a walk to see if I can see the colors in the sky.
Right.
That was incidentally a random event you guys rolled on the event too. It just was a happy coincidence that that happens to be happening tonight, and it happened in our game. So I think maybe the way you might think of it is not necessarily as this is something from the heavens, that this is something from pre-flood. This is an a creature that God wished to scour from the earth.
Maybe I saw like a drawing of something similar-ish in some kind of Enochian text I looked at once.
Yeah. Like there's hounds of death or something. Maybe. Whatever it is this is absolutely something that is not from. When I say this world, I mean the world after the flood. That would be maybe a way of you thinking of it as being something from a completely different world. What is your second question?
How old is the blood and the markings as far as being there?
That is about 3 days.
Okay. Well, successful analysis. Everybody reduce their stress by 1.
Yeah.
And then I'll roll to panic, because this seems very, very good time to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, don't freeze this time. Oh, shit.
All right. So your stress level is going to go up by 1. Yep. Tell us what do you think it is that you... So here's it. To make the dropping consequential, you break something that you're using among your scientific apparatus. What do you think it is?
Could I suggest something else?
Sorry?
Could I suggest something else?
Yeah, of course. What do you think?
So he sees it, and he goes to... Once the realization hits, he scrambles back, and his blackmail letters fall out of his coat and just get muffled in the blood and mud. And
no.
loses his signature of, oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So.
And he goes, I'm not going to say anything as he looks at Mr. Fisher.
So I think, if you look over at Mr. Fisher, he's got like incredibly intense and a bit of a grin on his face, like he's pleased to see what's going on. And if you look over at Delroy, I think Delroy shares, you guys share an understanding where from different perspectives you understand whatever that thing is utterly and thoroughly not of nature.
Right.
I do look at Blackjack and says, where's the body?
And you all look up at the outhouse.
Because I assumed whatever crawled out of there was the body and got dragged somewhere, but if it's still...
No. And I would... Yeah. I don't know if Blackjack goes, but if he doesn't, Delroy would go there, but he would just have a handkerchief or something to cover his mouth and nose, because whatever was in there for 3 days, it will...
And I'll give Delroy an option here. He can take a peek in there enough so he can see what's in there without showing everyone else, and then just say, it's blah, blah, blah. And no one else would gain stress levels without seeing whatever's in there.
Yeah, okay.
So if you look in there...
But also, I see it in your face ripped off.
Yeah, there's just enough lighting. I think we've all seen the aftermath of a chest burster before. Yeah. Imagine something sitting on the shitter in the middle of the woods with the chest burster. Yeah, so raise your stress level by 1, please. And whoever was in there, you can likely recognize the face and clothes, but the entire chest is blown out, and the inside of here, the door in particular, is caked in dried gore from that high energy event. Yeah. It looks like the latch is broken off, so whatever came out of him seems to have pushed its way through the door as well.
Okay.
The body's fairly well preserved on account of the cold and elevation too.
Yeah. You don't want to see it. Do I recognize the face, though?
Give us an observation check, please. Because you probably recognize, you may have had an eye for the people moving through.
Yeah, the miners might be from town.
Yeah. It's definitely, if not the face is what you recognize, the boots and the coveralls that the person's wearing, it's a miner from the Yutani mine.
Yeah, okay. It's one of the miners from here. He has the overall, and
Mr. Fisher, at that, you can see he starts striding up towards him. Really? Let me see. And he's not going to expose the rest of you guys, but he goes over to where you are, Delroy.
I would, without hesitation, let him have a look, and then go to the other ones and carefully whisper to them.
I think you can get a story point for that. That definitely fits with your things. And Dr. Gibbs, that's also your insistence on exposing yourself to that definitely fits with your agenda. So he looks in there, and Delroy, like, again, a very unsettling look. And you cannot hear what he is saying, but you're fairly sure that he's wordlessly or soundlessly mouthing out a prayer or psalm of some kind. Blackjack, you've been standing watching all this unfold.
Yeah, my gun probably shaking in my hand a little bit. I don't know what he would do, though. It's like sort of like, I mean, I guess he would say, you know, okay, everybody back in the cabin. We gotta secure ourselves. Get away from this.
Chuck. Mr. Fisher looks and says, I'm quite certain that this is not the contagion that I'm certain Dr. Gibbs has told you of.
But nor is it safe.
No. This is something new.
Yes, and something very dangerous.
I don't doubt that for a second.
I don't feel we've come here armed properly to deal with this.
So do you suggest we ride for the mine at night? Or ride back? And he asks you you can tell from his tone, the fanaticism goes a little bit away and more of the boss man tone slips back in, Blackjack.
Right.
This is putting you on the spot of like, are you a fucking company man or are you
You're a coward or you're yellow.
Well, more to the point, back to unemployed. Good luck finding where no town will have you as sheriff.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, and I mean, I suggest we secure ourselves in the cabin for the night.
Good. We could ride out tomorrow.
I would because maybe I'm a mean player, but I would just ask Dr. Gibbs, and I think I would wait until Blackjack is maybe occupied and doesn't hear it. So I'm wondering, you know, if the Son of our Lord came onto this world by a woman, maybe the beast comes into this world by a man.
It would the perversions of the Nephilim would that makes sense in the context of your cosmology, Dr. Gibbs, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. That was spot on there in golf. That was great. So he says, I don't want to see what you saw in that outhouse, but I want to know where this thing went. Because he looks make sure that Fisher and Harris are further away and says, those prints I've seen in Enochian texts. This thing is from before.
Yeah. So he does not know what to say further. He just wanted to have this speculation that this is
that
for
was
him. It's
amazing, guys. Why don't you each get a story point for that? That was really fucking cool. So, what do you guys?
Story,
what do you guys wish to do next then?
Well, Gibbs is going to need some time to get cleaned up because he has a feeling it's going to be a very, very long night.
Okay. He's washing his kecks.
Yep, and
we have room for the water. You know, you've got plenty of. There's a trough, maybe. You know, somewhere we can wash that lit shit out.
And we should definitely make sure the horses are safe because, you know, speaking from John's perspective, our transportation is very important. But Gibbs doesn't know that. Not yet.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think the devil has come to the world again. So,
did you guys mention the bear that was staring at us at all to Gibbs?
I don't think so. Both of them sort of saw it, acknowledged it together, and then just did not speak of it.
Okay, well, there's no reason to bring it up then.
Yeah.
No.
I will. Yeah. But I don't know if I would be so concerned about the horses now. I mean, I would be concerned because it is a routine, but I would not be more concerned about the horses than I had been the night before.
We should make sure the house is secure. The cabin.
How do you suggest we secure the horses?
I don't suggest anything. It was Dr. Gibbs who was.
Let's just make sure that they're safe.
If the horses panic, this is not Mr. Fisher, because if anyone does suggest bringing them in the cabin, they will kick us to death.
Yeah.
that.
No, we would never do that. I think we would do what we have done the night before.
Lash him to the post.
Yeah, and then maybe, I mean, are the horses more nervous than they have been? Do the horses seem
It was a survival check. And you know these horses. You can take +2.
Because I think that is the thing here. If those horses, if they feel like there's some kind of prey, they are some kind of prey, then this would be... I always click at the number and not at the skill.
So,
yeah.
But you've got one hit that's banked right now, but you definitely... These horses they're sweating in spite of the cold. Their nostrils are flaring. Their eyes are wild. They're pulling against the reins. Because remember that when Doctor, forgive me, you didn't go to your fake medical school for 6 years.
It was technically a real one. It's just it did poorly.
Yeah, it was getting on and night, so it's probably getting dark at this point where these horses are beginning. They're not to the point of panicking, but they are really agitated. What you've got one bank. Is there any other information you might want to try and get from that extra hit? Or do?
I don't...
I could suggest something.
Yeah.
Maybe when you strap them to the post or whatever, you can leave just enough weakness in it that if they really need to snap it and run, they can. They just have to really do it.
I don't even understand what you mean.
Like a loose knot, I think is what he means. Like the way that you like, because horses are trained not to test against it. It's like putting it on a loose branch, so they pull and think they're attached, but if they do freak out, they're not going to be stuck there.
Yeah.
That's what you meant, John?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Horse garage.
Yeah.
I meant put them in the horse garage.
Exactly. Just leave the door open.
Yeah. I can do that, but on the other hand, I mean, if they're gone, they're gone. Try to find a horse in the winter here. That is also a very, very stupid idea in the other regard. So, if I would believe that this is this super killer, I don't know, stalker I never have heard of.
A demon, maybe, you might as well call it that, a demon.
Yeah, it's or devil or whatever. Yeah, I don't think it will go after the horses. That is something. It will go after us because we have souls, and these are.
That's
creatures.
a good point.
Okay.
So that's
unless it's intelligent and evil, because then it might kill the horses to get to us. But let's not dwell on that. Well, stress level's going to go up.
Yeah. No. I would think it would go after us because we have souls. That's yeah.
But this is the first time I've seen an aliens thing actually take more of a religious bend to it. This is really fascinating. I love it.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I do, and I would say that the horses feel like there's someone like I don't know, like I don't know, a lion or whatever we have here around here.
That would be when there's a cougar around. This is how they'd react, right?
Yeah. So.
There's a predator out there. Franchise crossover.
Should we do a sweep to make sure there's any other signs of dead animals or people around the cabin?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, go ahead.
Not alone, not now.
Yeah, so I think Delroy is busy. Yeah.
Mr. Fisher says, "Mr. Tate," and he's staring at the fire, puffing on his pipe, not looking in your direction. Do you think it will come tonight? Your Nephilim.
I'm not sure. I would think that this creature, it hides in the day and comes at night, but who am I to know?
And without taking an eye off the flickering flames in the fireplace, I suppose we will know by dawn.
Yeah.
He is taking no steps to secure the place. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I would just lay the traps. Because this is just so. First of all, it is something to do to calm yourself, and then, I mean, we might get lucky, and this whatever it is just steps in one of them.
Okay. Why don't you give us a survival roll for setting the traps? John, that reminds me of the joke my friend's wife used to make. You know, what do they call a doctor who graduates at the bottom of his class?
Doctor.
Doctor, exactly. Okay, so you got something set out there. Delroy, it's the one, like, not a bear trap necessarily, but something bigger that's set out there. What about Blackjack or Dr. Gibbs? Anything you wish to do before night falls?
Yeah. Dr. Gibbs is going to scour that journal to see if he missed anything. But it just at the back of his mind, he wonders if this was one of the miners that, you know, got the contagion but never was access to the mine.
So Dr. Gibbs is furiously studying the journal. Blackjack?
I mean, he's probably polishing his gun. He is making sure that the bullets are loaded. You know, he is doing everything to prepare for what he believes is going to be a shootout with whatever this demon is.
It's a good idea. I'm loading my gun
it's
too.
Sort of all he knows, you know, is I'm going to shoot it, I guess.
Why doesn't everyone give us a stamina check at plus 2?
Oh, well.
This is just for Dr. Gibbs, you're awake. Blackjack is awake. And Delroy is awake. So, Blackjack and Dr. Gibbs each owe panic checks here. What happens is going to be happening. No problem, Blackjack. And no problem, Doctor. Well done.
I think he found a tiny crucifix somewhere in the cabin, and he's just got it wrapped around his hand.
So it is.
Why not?
It is around 3 in the morning when you hear the first scream of the first horse, and then all of them are screaming. You can hear the sound of goo, 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 goo. I'm going to make a check for them to see if they break the hitching post. Because 3 horses, 2 of which are used to dragging a thing along, there's a chance. I got 2 hits. You can hear the snapping. And then the sound of goo, 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 goo. Horses running off.
Okay.
You then.
But it's still dark outside, I suppose.
It is 3 in the morning, pitch black, and you hear a thump on the roof. Something is moving across. Bits of snow are dripping down. And I need to make a observation check to see if a trap is spotted. Here we go. So I need to beat yours. What you hear is a shock as that trap suddenly goes off. There is a scream that seems both human-like, but absolutely and definitively not human. There is a sound of rattling as the chain, I'm assuming you fixed it in the ground as well, so something caught is not going to be able to get through. But before you can do anything, everyone gets 1 stress level, incidentally. Before you can do anything, though, there is something, and this is where the stress level is coming from, something burns through the door. It falls away like wax from a lit candle, going in, and then as the floor itself begins burning, you would recognize it immediately, Dr. Gibbs, as perhaps what you see when acid is applied. I don't know if you others would have a frame of reference for that. It's just seemingly, what the fuck? And then the scream happens once again, and you hear the dropping of metal. And then a horrible silence, apart from the wind that is coming in through the burned door. Who is the first among you to move to the door? And how long is it before you move?
I mean, I'd probably move pretty quickly. I've got my guns out. I mean, my plan is to kill this thing, so...
Yeah. So you cast the door open. What do you have in your hand right now? Do you have a light source of any kind?
Yeah, I mean, probably. It's middle of the night, so yeah, one of our lanterns in one hand and sort of pistol in the other.
Yeah, so you kick the door open and you look down, and the steps that led into here, there's only probably 1 or 2 steps, have been utterly, like, just dissolved. You can see down to the bare surface of the earth, and it likewise, there is burning away. And you can see the charred remnants of Delroy's trap. It's as if it was burned in some charless fire, scoured away somehow. And you look off into the darkness where quite obvious tracks go, much larger than what you saw from Delroy. And somewhere off in the darkness, you hear that unsettling screech once again. And that is where we'll leave our session. So,
oh my goodness.
Good job with that trap.
Yeah, that trap was awesome.
I love it.
All right, so that brings us to the end of Alien Terminal. As is always the case, if you... Let's see here. This is just chugging. There we go. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this special one-shot session with Alien. I gotta say, this game, I really, really love the first session we played with it. I love this even more. This is a fucking amazing game. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this special Alien one-shot. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, and over there, we have a channel dedicated to assorted games, and I have posted the character sheets for these characters over there, so if you're curious to see what they look like, these are all starting characters as well, too. I didn't... oh, no, they are. They have 1 extra talent than what the starting character has. So they've got like 5 XP or something like that, or 10 XP. So like 2 sessions of play, maybe. Otherwise, these are what you would experience from a starting character for this game. We also have channels over there dedicated to most of the games we run on the channel, as well as, I should say, most of the campaigns we run on the channel, as well as most of the games, and other things like finding a group or GM discussion. It's a terrific community that has built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to something called, to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an amazing selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they do not have something in stock in their extensive catalog, then you can put it on a want list and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more, be sure to enter the code MuserNight, all caps, all one word, at checkout, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. That'll change at the end of June 2024, so if you're listening after that time, come back to one of our more recent videos and you'll find our updated discount code there. There is also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel, and it benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And you can learn all about their activities by following that link, and any donations that are made through there go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. As a small way of saying thank you, if you've donated $25 or more since January of 2024, come back to our Charity Initiatives channel at the end of July 2024, and you will find information there for how you can vote to help shape the final charity sessions of 2024. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart players. I told the guys yesterday that I was interested in taking something different for a stroll, for a ride. This is an idea I've had for a couple, well, I mean, basically since we ran Alien last time, so I was really, really glad to get this idea to the table, and you guys absolutely killed it and did better than I could have hoped. So John, Jeffrey, and Ingo, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I'm so sorry I didn't eat you with an alien yet.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
That was a great way to suspensively build up the encounter. We didn't even get to see it.
Yeah.
We just saw footprints and melted metal.
It's just, I think it's like the tools you have in the game as far as the stress mechanic are concerned and the unsafe conditions is just so good. It really makes it really fits what I think gives you more agency and a more, I think, interesting way of incorporating fear mechanics than any horror game I've run. You know, it just, I love Cult. Like, Cult Divinity Lost is one of my favorite games. I think for as far as a horror game for a slow build kind of thing, I just love this game. It's such a good, such a great game. But
back when I had a doctor drop his signature item and get ruined, I was like looking at it from his perspective. He's getting terrified. He's just about to run and no, this isn't worth it anymore. We're not doing it. But now that he's lost his papers, he has no choice but to go through with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And the cool thing too, like as soon as you get back to a safe area, those stress levels clear, right? As long as you get there, you'll be okay. But until then, it's just this ratcheting up. And there are some panic results that allow you to reduce your stress levels as well. So there are ways of relieving that stress. But in any event, thank you so much, guys. This was just, I had so much fun running this tonight and watching you play. You guys did such a great job with these characters and made them so much more interesting than even I could hope that they would be. So
it's pretty interesting. You actually hit a spot in like my knowledge well that I have in that particular setting. I was like, I can do this. This is right here for me.
It's awesome. Well, I love that you guys, like you said too, John, like I love that you guys leaned into the biblical understanding of this too, because it feels so authentic to what they would be thinking.
It's time period authentic. Yeah. The evolution didn't even pop up yet. And, you know, none of the modern science is caught up yet. I mean, they didn't start uncovering the fossils and saying, oh, those are dragons. No, they're dinosaurs yet. So it's like, that's all you had.
Yep. So awesome. Then for those listening at home, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, probably with more Skyrim. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes are encountering on a world very much like our own, but filled with much deeper and darker terrors. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.